Welcome to a big Thursday night here at the GABBA on Easter Thursday. It's Brisbane up against Carlton, two teams who won in round one. Last Saturday, Brisbane won at the MCG for the first time in 3 years. Tonight is a lot tougher. They take on Carlton, a premiership contender. But if the Lions can beat the Blues, then they really will be roaring.
This is a wonderful move from Hanley there.
They're the new look Lions.
Is a goal!
Michael Voss is moulding a team for the future.
Good pressure. That's the best 10 minutes we've seen from you. Take your spot now, Louis, down the line.
Inspired by the ageless Simon Black, who at 33 is as brilliant as ever.
He's the architect of so much.
Tonight, Black and Brisbane's young cubs, Rockcliffe, Rich, Hanley and co, meet the Blues' excitement machines. They're well-drilled, daring, and unquestionably breathtaking.
It's a chance. It's as good as you'll ever see.
A spectacular matchup, a massive test. It's Thursday night football at the GABBA.
And doesn't the GABBA look great? Out come the Blues, big winners 7 days ago against the Tigers at the MCG. Brett Ratton coaches game number 100 tonight. Through the banner they come behind Chris Judd. Number 3, Mark Murphy. Slow start, finished with 32 possessions against the Tigers. And their tallest man, Sean Hampson, 3 goals up forward. Taking a look at their lineup, no changes for the Blues. They resisted that temptation. But Heath Scotland will start on the bench and Jordan Russell is their sub. And now to Brisbane, upset winners last Saturday at the MCG. They played really well, defeating Melbourne by 41 points. Simon Black, number 20, outstanding. He turned 33 on Tuesday. Like fine wine, eh? Michael Voss must have been delighted with their performance. Rank outsiders. I think we've read all week how they humbled the Demons. So Brisbane on the ground for Thursday night football. There's Vossi. Well, he's not smiling, but he's got reason to smile, and hopefully, from his point of view, they can make it 2 out of 2. One change for the Lions tonight. O'Brien replaces Sheldon as their sub. Rockcliffe went forward last week and booted 3-5. I've got to say how impressed I was with Brisbane last week. They were absolutely terrific. Can they make it 2 out of 2? Well, they've got a shot, I think. But of course, Carlton and no Melbourne. Access all areas. Here's Tom and Lee.
Thanks very much, Dennis. I am down here with Lee Matthews. I'll tell you what, he's still the most popular person down here at the GABBA. They love Lee here. But now, Lee, you made some comments on Channel 7's Game Day that you thought that Ben Hudson this year would end up a better recruit than Mitch Clark. How do you see that panning out
Well, with that all
tonight?
evidence of round one, that was certainly the case. Yeah, Ben Hudson, I've been really impressed with him as a ruckman for most of his career. He's a 33-year-old playing only his second game for the Lions. He retired from the Bulldogs, came to live in Brisbane. Brisbane decided to recruit him as a fill-in. What do you know, he's led their ruck last week and probably going to lead the ruck tonight. And I really like him as a player. He's a sort of battler in the aerial contest, but he gets his knees dirty, he gets in at ground level, he really helps the clearance work. He gets 4 or 5 clearances himself. So just on what we saw last week, and of course, if he's the veteran, Cruiser is the next generation. In a lot of ways a similar type, 11 years younger, much better in the air, but he too is a ruckman who gets in at ground level, blocks for the little guys, gets his hands on the ball. So he's at different ends of their careers, certainly Hudson and Cruiser, but both a similar style of ruckman who really help their midfielders.
And I guess the clearance has become so important because we saw an unconventional Brisbane forward line, obviously without Jonathan Brown. And as Dennis mentioned, it was Tom Rockcliffe who started kicking 3 goals 5. He took 6 contested marks inside the forward 50, and he's going to play a pivotal role. He elevated himself in that sort of marking midfielder role, and obviously he's well supported by the power forward, if you like, in Daniel Merritt, who's playing an unconventional role also as previously the linchpin of the defence, but now the key power forward for the Brisbane Lions. So that's where the game's going to be played, through the middle and up forward, obviously.
Yeah, well, certainly Merritt is probably going to start forward when Jonathan Brown stood up. Then he'll probably go back to bench. But Rockcliffe, his marking in the forward line was terrific last week.
Absolutely perfect conditions down here, Dennis, and a bit more of the same from the Brisbane Lions last week.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Lee. So Thursday night football is ready to roll right here at the GABBA. Stick around. It's Brisbane and Carlton.
Shut down the time and space, boys. React quickly. That's all we got to do. Quick reaction between offense and defense.
Well, there we go. We have Simon Black mic'd up tonight, the voices of the game. We're going to hear everything Blackie has to say around the stoppages. What an absolute champion of the game he's been. 297 games, 3 All-Australians, 3 best and fairest, Brownlows, Norm Smiths. He's done it all. We're going to hear all that he has to say tonight, and it's going to be plenty of it, because over the last 10 years, he is the #1 ranked player in the AFL for contested possessions and clearances. So he's going to be right at the coalface all night. We're very, very lucky to have him mic'd up.
Good stuff, Richo, that is for sure. Lee, is he a talker? We're going to hear much from Blackie?
Well, I think Blackie's more a doer traditionally, I guess. Now that this stage of his career, he has to be a general and he has to be an organiser around those line stoppages. But largely, he's been the guy in close, getting the foot. Always plays better on the replay. Whenever I was coaching him, whenever you watch the replay, there's so much he does in tight you don't see live from the stands.
What a great compliment. Judd wins the toss. Carlton kick to the left of screen. Dennis.
You know what they say, Lee? Give a man a microphone. We'll run amok tonight. He did last Saturday against Melbourne. He was wonderful. Best on ground. At that stage, he was 32, 33 on Tuesday. Thursday night football, we're underway. And a good bounce to start proceedings. Hudson again. Best ruckman on the ground last Saturday. Carazzo could have been taken high.
Free kick. Andrew Carazzo, let him go. Stay there. Stay there. Stay out.
Carazzo alongside the centre circles then. Sending the Blues forward well inside their 50. Waite works to the front. Fisted away Maguire. Judd a fumble. Adcock right there with him. Did brilliantly, Adcock. Slips it away to Hanley. Hanley pops it around the outer side. Rich.
Hold there. Hold there, Kate. Play on.
McGrath. 20 metres out from his own defensive goal. Straight up the middle. Awkward one for Adcock. Now he's got a problem. Men behind and in front. Garlett got a boot to it. Merritt got it though. Feeds it forward. Beams was outstanding last week as well. The midfield did so well for Brisbane. This is Buick. 50 metres out. Turns around. How will it bounce? Well, it's short. It goes inside the square. Bauer picks it up. Interesting hand pass. Leicester must have called for it. Down he goes. Robinson got him. Off the ground by Banfield. Laidler in 2 minds. Just waited till Banfield got close enough and then took it across the line.
Gee, good start.
Great start by the Lions in defence. I mean, it looked like Judd was just going to run onto that ball into the goal, but that ball had a mind of its own.
And Adcock just fended him off really cleverly, didn't he?
Really strong.
And then made a really good second effort, Adcock, to hold the ball. So Murphy and Beams, this will be interesting. Beams, the rising star from last year. And Murphy, well, he has risen. Maguire, corralled by Hampson. Back to Maguire. That was a fortuitous bounce, but good kick. Buick is a left footer.
Play on.
Yep.
Gets around. Robinson. Black's hands are okay. McKeever back to Merritt. Merritt's been lively. He goes the long bomb. Carlton got all the numbers. Laidler takes an easy mark. So look, 50. So look.
50 metres. Hadn't played on. Straight over the mark.
Can't play advantage after 50 metres. That's why the umpire is making sure the mark is set.
Jeremy Laidler has a great knack of anticipating where the ball's going to go as a key defender, but Brisbane can't afford to just kick the ball directly to him. He's too good at rolling off his direct opponent.
Laidler towards half forward. Well done, Maguire. Won the battle of strength with Hampson, took the mark. Sends it up towards the wing. Off the fingers of Merritt. Controlled it pretty well, though. The kick out of bounds on the full. Looking down the ground, had nothing much on.
Well, he's pushing right up the ground, Dennis, as a high half forward at the moment, which releases Jeremy Laidler in the back half for Carlton. I think for Brisbane going forward, they'd be better served to have a smaller half forward push up and more of a focal point down deep in the forward line.
So what you're saying there, Tom, is that Merritt is Brisbane's, I'm trying to think of somebody equivalent to him on the forward line. Not Garlett. Yeah, let's call him Brisbane's Garlett as the ball comes up towards the wing. In from the side. There he is. Let's see Garlett do that. Takes a bit of organising. Back towards the middle. McGrath hits the ground running. Kicks inside the forward 50. Buick, awkward half volley. Chance for Judd. Beams goes after the football with a lot of want-to. Sent it across towards Black. Black had it, lost it. Cruiser missed a man on the ground. That was Hudson. Waite gets a hand passed out. Taken there nicely by Merritt. Gave it across to McGrath. To Black. Broadens things. Golby in trouble. Packful, and now Stiller.
Golby did well under pressure, Stiller on that left foot, and Leuenberger's hands weren't bad. Gets a second crack, Carlton all over the top of him. Some good stuff by the Blues defence. And out they come. Curnow belts it onto his boot. Betts and Golby. Likely type Golby. He'll have his hands full with Betts.
Let it go, guys.
Got a terrific record, Betts. Ooh, Betts against. There's Jonathan Brown, who we'll be talking to at half-time. Terrific record against the Lions, Betts, but not a great record here at the Gabba. Handball forward from Rockcliffe. Scotland has started interchange. That one cut off. And down to you, Richo. You've got something for us.
Yeah, interesting. Garlick came off the ground after 90 seconds and Lucas came on. He had his calves worked on. Not sure why he would have come off so early, but he's off the ground, Jeff.
There's a great opportunity for Carlton now as Gibbs goes back close to the centre square. Scotland bounces one down towards Lucas. Last week he started on the bench as the sub. Starting on the ground tonight. Carazzo inside the forward 50. Armfield was up and close attendance Stiller. And the ball goes out of bounds.
It's been a great start by both sides. They're getting real energy at the footy. So at the moment it's really hot. If you get the ball in your hands, the defensive pressure is at it straight away.
G. Hampson, good tap. Murphy. Beams has got the job. Ball in dispute. McGrath, good little give to Richard left footer, so he released him on the best side for him. Maguire, who's had a bit of an early. McKeever, slapped out by Thornton. McGrath, again the ball comes out. Judge tackle was effective. Curnow, Scotland in heavy traffic. Well done, Lucas. Well, he kicked a couple in the last quarter last week as a sub, and he gets the first tonight.
It's great cricket. What you often find up at this stage of the year in the Brisbane kind of climate, it gets really moist and you get a lot of sweat on the arms, which gets on the footy, then it comes up from the ground. So you'll see a lot of fumbling. There's good pressure, but a lot of fumbling that will make the ball go from one hand to another.
It was the hallmark of both sides last week, wasn't there? Work at the clearances. Obviously, we praised Simon Black before the game for his job against Melbourne, but that was the difference really fundamentally between Carlton and Richmond, was the work in tight of Judd, of Murphy, and obviously Carazzo played a huge game on Cochin after quarter time.
Clay Beans was fantastic last week on Brett Maloney. Well, Murphy's a different running power. He'll run and surge. That'll be a really good matchup.
Back in the middle, Hudson wins it down. Rockcliffe got a hand to it. Judd only as far as Black. Two of the greats of the game. Cruiser kicks inside the forward 50. Where's Lucas? He's in a goal-kicking frenzy at the present time. Going to ground, Lucas gets up, goes after it again. Meantime, over the football is Stiller, trying to wrench the ball away from him, Armfield, and will have the ball up. So Lucas hadn't kicked a goal in his career until the last quarter last week. Promptly got a couple and starts tonight with the first goal of this one on Thursday Night Football. A bounce about 45 metres out from goal then. Hudson props in front, Cruiser over the top. That's almost the perfect tackle. Waite got a boot to it, bursting through the pack is Redden. Packful took too long, run down from behind by Betts, picked up by Gibbs. Goes inside the forward 50. It's going to be a free kick to Waite.
It'll be interesting, that matchup. Of course, Maguire last week on a sort of stay-at-home forward like Clark, he was just too strong. That matchup will...
Grabbed his jump early, stopped him running at the ball. Time back on.
That's what the free kick's for, but he's such a mobile player. Wait, I'd say Maguire's going to be hanging on. That was a tackle that turned the ball over. Maguire will always be looking to hang on a little bit to stop Waite running.
Waite was on report in the opening couple of minutes last week. Won at the tribunal. And now has a win on the field. Slots it. Listen, I think that could weight off his game as far as last week was concerned too. He seemed a little unsettled by that early report. Never really featured, but at his best, he's so important to these Blues. And right there showing you why. Getting the ball on the ground, which really isn't his go. And Michael Voss's team looked pretty sharp, but Carlton had the lead by 11.
We've spoken about the job that Clay Beams has with Mark Murphy, but we see Daniel Rich on the pine and Chris Judd. They're actually running together head for head, so I expect to see that tonight. And also the respect for Rockcliffe is Carazzo for Carlton.
So Leuenberger and Hampson, who both started forward and will play a fair bit forward tonight in the ruck for the moment. Redden really good in the clearances. Adcock just worried out of it by Curnow. Lucas's handball. Now Simpson. He's got some time and he just touches it along the line to Carazzo. Just the perfect night, isn't it? I mean, I know a little bit of that Jude Lee talked about, but just when you walk on the ground, you feel like playing. It's just a great night to be out there running and competing. Hampson was in the front. Golby had to put it down in the end. Redden knew the tackle was coming. Waite claims him. Heard the umpire. Ball was out. He said play on. And Waite wants to go on with it.
That situation where a player gets tackled and the ball falls out of his hands, the umpires are being quite lenient on that as a principle, that if the tackle makes the ball come clear, then they just call play on.
So Leuenberger just wins a tap again. And then second effort, Armfield was down low. That ball hoping to come out. Again, ricocheting around a bit like a pinball at the moment. Curnow in there, Stiller in there, and the ball comes wide, and now Gibbs.
Running out of space, Gibbs. Helped across the line there by young Pollock.
Impressive signs early from Carlton, the way they're actually setting up away from the football. Gibbs and Laidler playing those significant roles defensively for Carlton.
Gibbs, such a good decision maker, but that time the decision was made for him. There's Redden in front, just loops it over the top. It's going to be a free kick. And it's going to Brisbane. No advantage there. So Polkinghorne, who was being held, gets the free. Short to Leuenberger. Strange situation. Leuenberger, I'm sure, during the summer thought he would be the #1 ruckman. Well, Hudson has come in and muscled his way into that position.
It's going to be a very good second ruckman, I think, Dennis.
How about that? Who would have thought? Now McKeever. It's an amazing style as he finds McGrath. McKeever is meticulous like Mr. Carson in Downton as he kicks. He places that ball just in the right spot. There's Beams around the outer side. Goes with the outside of the boot. Down towards the pocket. Laidler was stripped. Beams came again. Carranzo looking to find a way through. Hot potato. Laidler goes to Lucas, and Lucas goes across the boundary.
Hope he has more luck and love than Mr. Carson, but anyway.
I thought you might have been more of a Bates fan, Dennis.
Well, reminds me too much of myself. He limps.
Hampson taps down. And then heard the umpy. V's a lucky girl. Lucas caught up. Still with Lucas, and the ball up.
Holding the football.
Well.
No legitimate attempt. Must make a legitimate attempt.
What more can you say? So Adcock.
Really, what the player has to do there is virtually just let the ball go, because there's nothing else you can do. But if you let it go in the tackle, there's a fair chance that will be allowed to just go on.
So that was turned over, was it?
Yeah, reversed. Just on the 50 it was.
Yeah, against Black, and we've got him mic'd up, so good time to go down. Wow. You're there, Simon. Silence, Bruce.
I don't think he's allowed to talk back to us still. We haven't quite got that far.
Haven't we? Technology, eh?
They are bright. Look at that.
22s lock up. Robinson gets free. Hard against the boundary. Sends it long down towards full forward. Maguire tracks it back to the goal square. And the ball flirted with the idea of getting away from him. Maguire panicked a little. Well, poise and panic in the right measure there from Maguire, just pushing it across the line eventually. Matt Maguire at his new home goes to the outer side. Not a good kick. Murphy. And Murphy coughed it up as well. Adcock, sweeping hand pass out wide. Rich is a wonderful kick of the footy. Goes long, favours Rockcliffe. Gets the crumb, does Tommy, turns around, shoots, it's bouncing. It's bouncing. Oh! It's still a live ball. I don't believe it. What are the odds of that? Heck, Tui's got it. In the pocket, takes on Pollock. Took a while. I think they're all stunned by what they just saw. Ripley's, believe it or not, watch this again.
It is an oval ball. They do bounce funny.
It was that technique again, the dribble, as opposed to the one where you really punch it through.
Oh, he was stiff, all right. Hudson and Cruz. And Hudson toe pokes a goal. There you are. Second efforts. Lee talking about it before the match. Well, he's a great competitor. We know that he's 33 years of age. He's actually older than Simon Black, believe it or not, Hudson. He hasn't played as much footy, but he really is a great competitor. And that was just a typical Hudson goal. If somebody said to you, how did Ben Hudson play the game, you'd show them that, I reckon.
Yeah, pretty good in the air, but that's the second effort stuff that separates Ben Hudson from the average ruckman. Really good at ground level.
What do you got for us, Richo?
Well, they did win that clearance. That was only their second clearance for the night. Carlton are up 8-2. An area the Lions need to improve on this year. They were poor in that area last year.
Karata, here's another one, Richo, so you better make it 9. Scotland, need on that left, Betts, Lively, hasn't had much of it yet, but he's been tackling well. And then Curnow with a left torpedo out wide. Actually, Montaigne went for deliberate last year. I know he was going the other way, but not this year.
Well, that shot at goal from Rockcliffe makes you wonder about deliberate, doesn't it? If the ball hits the deck anywhere, nothing's a given.
Exactly. Use it in evidence.
That's right. Just bring that video. There's Simon Black around the outer side, bounces it, but only as far as Armfield. Run down from behind. Leuenberger, the big guy.
Straight to him.
Whoa.
Here of the game last week against the Demons where they out-tackled them 10. There's so much of the ball, that's impressive.
Well, short to Golby. Golby up from centre-half back inside the centre square. 13 plays 7, and Brisbane giving as good as they're collecting at the moment. Patfield comes out to Hanley. Now, Hanley is going to be a star. He debuted under Lee, so Lee can take the credit. Oh, sorry, Lee. Simpson, Judd has a bounce. Rich is closing. Judd across the ground, got the loose man in Waite, who'll do exactly that. Man on the mark is 45 out. I reckon Waite can probably get the trip.
Jared, that's your line.
But doesn't want to. Goes short, finds Betts. And Betts is marked about 35 metres out, 45-degree angle.
Well, we've talked a little bit about after what we saw in round 1 about the press up and the congesting the forward line. This game's exactly like the other games in round 1. It's like football's gone back about 5 years. The ball is just bouncing back all over the field, and a fair bit of space seems to be created when you go forward.
Do you think Mickey's turning the telly off right now?
Yeah. Well, we've got Mick outnumbered, I reckon. Here comes Betts, and Betts' kick is pretty good. Splits the middle.
What a great little forward pocket he is, Betts. 50 goals last year. In fact, his stats are interesting, Betts. These are his last 5 years. 21 goals, 25 goals, 38 goals, 42 goals, and 50 goals. So
it's a lot of goals.
Yeah, he's a good player. And he tackles well too, doesn't he, Dennis?
Yeah, he's terrific. And those small forwards are the key to this game, I think, Bruce.
Yep.
Jump at it, guys. Jump at the 40.
So Vossi there. So a couple of goals down. They're in this match, though, the Lions. I mean, they've started well. They're lively, but Carlton have made the most of their opportunities. Rich gets it from Black. So Gibbs heard the call like you did. Henderson, high draft pick for the Lions. Back to half forward. Rich courageously, and then Patfield provided a shield in the end for him. Rich, you feel like he's back in the old Rising Star form, don't you? He's got a spring in his step. He looks athletic again. He's free. He's a magnificent kick. I think Dennis talked about that earlier tonight. That's his absolute strength. Leuenberger not quite. Yes.
Drop the arms! Brisbane! Drop the arms!
Very hard to outreach him. He's very tall, 200 centimetres plus.
It's a big long kick. Merritt almost.
Push. Push. Daniel Merritt, straight to him, please.
It's an unnecessary free kick. Had the 2-on-1 there, Carlton, but a push here from Gibbs is the call. We can't argue with that.
I was thinking earlier, Merritt sort of is playing Jonathan Brown's role for a couple of weeks. Yeah. But he's not his stunt man, is he? I wouldn't want to be. How'd you like to be Jonathan Brown's stunt man?
If he runs back with the flight of the ball, we know he is his double.
And I reckon he'd do it too.
Got the goal.
Yeah, well, Merritt went forward last week, of course, trying to do the Jonathan Brown thing and really put himself about. A very interesting duel with Frawley. So Carlton up by 6 points, and you've got to like what we've seen so far. They've certainly taken their chances, as Bruce mentioned, far better than Brisbane, but Brisbane getting plenty of the football, and who knows, it might come for them.
Free kicks there. Bryce Gibbs has been alternating, I guess you see, with Jeremy Laidler there, as trying to be a spare man for Carlton. Just got a bit nervous, I think, about the size of Daniel Merritt and felt the need to push him in the back. Clearly there.
So the rucks go at it. Cruiser knocks it down. Judd, slick hands away. Robinson inside the forward 50. They queue up the Lions. None of them really took it cleanly, though. Having the best shot was McGrath, who goes on to tackle Curnow too high. Well, they really didn't work it out too well.
Really finding at the centre bounces, when the ball goes quickly into your forward line these days, I reckon defenders really look on edge.
Yep.
Because defenders have been used to playing zone, to doing team defence, and whenever there's a bit of one-on-one going on, I think they all look pretty shaky as a general view across the whole defensive groups in all the clubs.
Just become a bit lazy.
Not practising that particular skill.
I'd like to pick up on that point, Lee.
There's trouble. Curnow comes in and he misses to the right-hand side. Tommy?
I think Lee is absolutely spot on, as he is with most things, but the game certainly had that press mentality about it, and as a key defender, you're practicing the art more and more of actually playing the third in and zoning and only taking a player when they came into your zone. So the one-on-one work went out the window, and what we're seeing now is more and more contested situations, and the defenders at large have been caught out.
And a man who would have loved that style of play, Richo.
Yeah, Lockie Henderson's off down here at the moment. Danny got a knee to his right glute from Big Sauce Merritt, and Sauce has got a bit of weight behind him. That would have hurt.
Yaron.
Do you reckon we might recognise Yaron from about 400 metres away?
Garlett goes short, finds Betts.
Well, it was Garlett.
Well, they've got matching boots.
Yeah, you're right. No, I meant Garlett, but in fact they both got those vivid orange boots.
It was a package deal.
A package deal.
Now, you said you would have worn those fluoro boots back in the day, Lee.
Absolutely. Why wouldn't you? Anything to get those Brownlow backs, Tom.
I wouldn't know.
Gee.
They're sort of orange going on pink, aren't they? Very strange. A hybrid. Betts, meantime, misses to the left-hand side, so suddenly they've gone cold. 21 plays 13. 3-3-2-1. Carlton, who were so accurate, and that was the difference between the two sides, suddenly missing their share.
So Robinson to cut it off, so the second time a kick from the back's been cut off, that time McGrath.
Well, inside 50 metres, that's the important thing. If you get your medium short kick cut off, well, it's a shot at goal.
The Brownlow statisticians just come in with the combined votes for you and Lee, Tom. It's not a pretty picture. Robinson coming back, but just going away. I think 214 the total, but I know Lee got over 200.
So 226 between the four of us.
Now, you've got to seasonally adjust those numbers too, because I think Lee played in a season where there was a 5.
Oh, that's right. There was a couple of umpires voting in the same year, so you could get about 50.
So, as Dempsey did, didn't he? McGrath's kick again, Robinson there. That's deja vu.
Well, he knows he's got the distance. It's only a matter of can he actually keep it on line, not even trying.
Well, this time he sets it up to about 20 metres. Wait!
Gee, that's a good grab, isn't it?
Right.
He was the third man up, and you could see there was two. There was the defender, there was Hampson and Maguire, and Waite was just able to float up third up, and gee, that...
Tom, did you play on him at all, Waite? Did you?
Yeah, I did, and this is exactly what he was very good at. He identifies he's going to launch for the ball very early on, and as a defender playing against him, you've got no choice but to go for the ball yourself.
McKeeve has to learn from that. He has to, your opponent jumps, you have to jump as well.
Yep.
Well, he's kicked one, and he's kicked two, so Carlton straighten up in front here, and now kick away. He's interesting, Dennis, isn't he? Because he's been a bit of a swingman, Waite, but it looks like now he'll be a forward for much of the rest of his career, I think, don't you?
Yeah, and he looks to have his confidence tonight. He's a marking player, and when he's on song, you can see a player who's confident and feels good about himself right there, having a lot to say on that forward line. Mentioned last week he was blunted a bit early because he's had a history of reports, and it looked like he was a recidivist last week, but didn't turn out that way, so it had a happy ending.
Get a really good look at it here, and even probably 2 or 3 seconds before that frame, Jared Waite setting himself to take the mark. McKeever, his direct opponent, we just see him trailing in there. He needs to pick up on that a bit earlier and fly when Waite flies, as opposed to trying to just defend him off the ball.
Carranzo crawls after it. Rockcliffe on his knees got it out. Pollock's in trouble, goes to the ground. Carranzo comes again, then he lost it. Black in the opposite direction. Polkinghorn Now it's Tui. Tui towards half forward, getting back. Interesting manoeuvre there by Stiller. Slapped forward by Garlett. Stiller goes back. Won a tough ball, well played. Golby gets a hand pass away. Advantage is paid. Rockcliffe over the top. Polkinghorn, good call by the umpire. Let it develop. Rich goes inside the forward 50. Off the chest of the big guy, Merritt. Merritt bounces towards the pocket. It looked like the other Merritt just for a moment right there, backing back into the pack and moving everybody. Close to the boundary line, trying to push it forward Leicester, nothing doing. In trouble Laidler, that's tough in there, and the umpire calls for it.
Gee, Leuenberger's tackling's been impressive in
Yeah,
there.
he's been very energetic. He's a really promising big man. What, his 6th season now, really high draft choice, 4th draft choice a few years back now.
Clever tap on, I think, from Leicester. And Redden has nailed it. I think he has. Well, that is a real bonus.
Quality player, Redden. He was very good last week. 5 possessions. He's one of those acquirers. Just finds the loose ball. Can play outside or inside. That's the beauty of him. And he's a wonderful complement to Simon Black. So Brisbane got a goal they needed. They were just falling off the pace there. Interesting, the last 3 scoring shots for Carlton. 1 goal, 3 from just one inside 50.
Good setup this for Brisbane, not so good for Carlton. And when you get into that centre corridor, Redden standing there virtually unopposed, I think Carlton's defensive structure coach, whoever that happens to be disappointed with that.
So, Lee, we saw Leuenberger there just flick it over the back. It was terrific. He's after the footy now. In the opposite direction comes Leicester. He's dragged down, trying to flick it out of there. Polkinghorn's got it. High ball out towards the wing and Richo. How will it bounce? Keeps on going towards the boundary. Yaron. It's going to be a free kick, I think, to Rich. Taken high on the Shepherd. I was going to say, how do you sell that as a coach? And now it's 50, is it? It's 50. Oh, well, how about that? The Carlton player came a long way to Shepherd. The contact, umpire Stevic said, was high. Yaron had the ball to himself.
Yeah, well, that was the high tackle. The 50-metre penalty is the real bad blue. You just got to get the ball back.
Just thinking about Leuenberger, how do you sell that as a coach? Like, you go to him and say, well, we've got this 56-year-old ruckman we've just recruited. Wants you to be second string. Then comes Rich, kicks the goal.
Well, there's one positive, Dennis. You know that the 56-year-old's not going to be around for a long time.
He's disproving that a bit, isn't he?
Well, he is. He is only 33, but he looks like he's 56.
Yeah, that's right. He comes up here, pitches the hammock, and then he's back playing.
Well, they've done well here, the Lions, because the Blues have pinched the break. Brown to come back next week, and Drummond, I believe. That will be a massive bonus to both of them and for the Lions.
50-metre penalty, that's undisciplined now. Let's see what happens with the 50. Just Yaron just holds on to the ball too long.
Gee whiz.
You just got to get the ball back, but it's a big penalty, isn't it?
Stiff. Free call. The free kick from Bauer was just unacceptable.
Yeah, no, it was a silly
sloppy
thing.
play.
2 bits of sloppy play gifted the Lions that goal, really.
But I reckon the scoreboard's about right
now. Oh, yeah, they've been good.
So Armfield belting forward, just trying to get it into that forward 50. Oh, brilliant Murphy with pace, but just couldn't quite get the handball right. How did Stiller get through the first couple? Murphy butters up. Oh, it's a good play, isn't it?
If you're a young midfielder sitting at home on Thursday night and you watch an elite player, elite runner, and this is probably the difference when you're talking about Clay Beams' assignment tonight.
Yeah, he's a mover.
You've got Mark Murphy in the centre square, launches the ball forward, charges forward again, stays active, goes back to the contest. So when the coach is assessing the play, he's always on the screen and finishes with the goal.
Great tackle by Thorne, but just the Carlton jumpers outnumbered Brisbane at the fall of the ball, which is really why you win the contest.
Richo?
Yeah, they're finding ways to score, Brisbane. Obviously, the Blues just got a goal from the clearance there. They haven't taken a mark inside 50 yet. Carlton have taken 7. That's a positive, though, for the Lions. Once they start taking a few more marks, they're just finding a way to score down there.
Chris Judd off to a slow start. Just the 2 possessions so far. There's Hudson. Like a ballerina through midfield there.
Murphy. Play on.
So Murphy got the free kick. Didn't see it myself. Gave it across to Scotland. When I say I didn't see it, I didn't see it. It comes back to Scotland. He's tackled by Merritt. Crashing tackle. Got him down. Thornton falling to the ground. Lays it off to Henderson. Henderson inside the forward 50. Hanley. Well, he dropped his head slightly there. Golby. Black. Patful with dash from the South Australian, sends it towards the outer side. Ill-directed though, over the head of Leuenberger, and that's tough to do. Bauer should be too nimble. Leuenberger earnest in his pursuit. Now Yaron breaks away. Well done, Rich. Put some pressure on. Affected the kick. Oh! Straddling the pack there was Waite. Lays it off. Tui the Irishman into Black. Ricochets back. Falling to the ground. McKeever did well. Oh! Terrific stuff by Banfield. Found a way through. Goes down towards half forward. Slapped away up the second attempt by Bauer. Lester. Beams. Beams lines up. Snaps a goal. 3 points for difference.
They're a different team, aren't they, Brisbane? I know it's very early, but they're a different team to the one we saw last year. I tell you who's been good. Leicester, a couple of really important handballs. One to Redden goal, one then to Beams a goal. And what a good finish by Beams there across the body. This has been a fantastic first quarter of footy.
What about Daniel Rich, to up to 7 possessions now? You made a very good point, Bruce. He looks back to, well, his best form.
The end result's obviously a goal, but here's the work here from Simon Black. The smother's great,
Turnover,
but
isn't it?
the ability here of Rockcliffe to get it up off the deck and feed it straight out. You reckon there's a bit of Simon Black in that drill as well?
So what a spectacular opening term we're seeing here tonight. Bit of goal for goal, high tackle.
A lot of speed about the game. You know that Carlton can play high-tempo football pretty much all night. That's the Lions' challenge, to keep up this tempo for 4 quarters.
Well, they've achieved something tonight that nobody's done for a long time against them. That's kicked 5 goals in the opening term. We've got to go back to the Royal Wedding Night in Sydney for that to have happened. Knew I'd remember that one. Gee, I wish I'd seen that live at the night.
Check 40, does his blood on his leg, is it?
Brownie, I'm sure, was having a look at that Royal Wedding, and Brownie will be talking to Tom at half-time. Look forward to that. Don't ask him about Kate or Pip, whatever you do.
I don't forget it either, because the Prince was wearing a West Perth jumper, red with the blue sash. Tossed it at the boundary line.
Hope he didn't have a number on his belt.
Well, he never turned round. In fairness, it goes towards the boundary and out it goes.
Well, on that game, I reckon I saw one of the best individual quarters of footy, and that was Chris Judd's third quarter that night. So it might be a trend.
Wow. We better get that tape out and have a look at it again. We've all got fond memories.
You called well that night.
Did I? Was I there? I like the way I've got to check with you as to whether I was at some of these places. But I remember the jumper. Here's Rich. Close to the boundary line, out of bounds on the full. Just Rich has got the appetite for it now. He looks terrific. Ball comes towards the middle. Curnow worked off it by Hanley. Banfield picks it up, hacks his way through. Leuenberger, Hanley. Hanley is a long kick. If he gets this ball back, look out. Adcock's got it now, goes to Black. Leading back in all directions. The back lead is back. And a strong mark is taken by Leicester.
Isn't the speed just coming through the centre square? What we're seeing is like pretty much centre square surges and centre square attacks. And really, I've got to say, both midfield, offensive midfield is running forward very hard, and both midfielders are getting caught behind the footy in those particular plays.
Well, it was Banfield on this occasion. This is the really positive thing I like about the Brisbane Lions, is they've got these midfielders who have the ability to play forward, and obviously fair bit of grunt through the guts as well.
Leicester gets the goal. Brisbane lead.
Now, I must say, one of the things that when you run the ball through the middle of the ground, that final kick into the 50, when you've got to really position you forward, that's where Simon Black's so good. When he's got the ball with a metre or two to spare, he's just got such good control of his kicking. He was able to actually put the ball where Leicester wanted it, to be able to take the mark with a defender in the vicinity.
Well, the kick was not so much where Leicester wanted it, as where Simon Black wanted Leicester to be.
Yeah, push him to the space.
So if we watch it here, here's the build-up, obviously, with Hanley. The handball's behind. But Leicester's leading, and Simon Black saying, no, you get to here, and I'll get you the ball there, and just dropped it in front of him.
It's been impressive, Leicester. He's given off 2 goals and kicked 1, 19 years of age. He and Pollock, the 2 teenagers out there for the Lions. Cruiser, Redden just got to tap him. Carazzo, pretty good. Back onto it. So it's the Lions who've got a bit of momentum now before quarter time. Carlton got out to what, 2.5 goal lead.
What's always more difficult too at the GABBA, because of the centre pitch area, you've got a very firm centre pitch area, so when the ball's bobbling around in there at ground level, it's very hard to extricate it easily.
So Carlton led by 15 points at one stage in this term. Murphy ridden to the ground.
He's back! Mark Murphy, Hudson over the top.
So 15 seconds remaining in this opening term. So Carlton trying to beat the clock now. Curnow gets it from Murphy. Now if Mark here and they can kick a late goal, and Waite will be doing that on the siren. He's kicked 2. So the siren's about to go. 3 seconds to go in this opening term. There we go. So Jared Waite.
This looks slippery, Waite. I think Hampson might have just gave him a little bit of a subtle block off the ball just before they came into screen. But when he gets a yard on Maguire, he's very hard to beat.
So this to put Carlton in front at quarter time. He just shaves it and misses it. He's kicked a couple. We're going to be talking to Mark Harvey on the other side of this break. It was a colossal opening turn. Scintillating stuff, one into the other, and at quarter time on the big night, Easter Thursday here at the GABBA, it's the Lions 37 and the Blues 35.
Get up, Alex, get up! That way, Rog! Follow through the leg, mate, follow through. Steady up. Boys, set up, set up! Set up!
Take your pick.
Richie, out there, stay there.
Play on.
Hey, Rocky, rock! Yeah! Go, Rock. Good throw.
Oh, that's great stuff. It's not often you get the opportunity to follow a champ into his office. It's not exactly the information highway, it's more shorthand, but some wonderful moments there with Simon Black. Let's go to Richo.
Well, Harves, you must have liked what you saw. They're pretty even in most areas. It's a good game.
Yeah, just the stoppages. We gave away a few silly free kicks and they seem to get first possession at the moment. Got to work on our kick-outs and got to stop Laidler and Gibbs from laying off.
Always a positive when Chris Judd has 2 possessions for the game. What's your tactic on him tonight?
Team approach.
Team approach. Just probably one area you need to tidy up a little bit. Some marks inside 50. Carlton have taken 8. Are you going to do anything about that?
Yeah, it's really up to our defenders and the pressure we put up in the midfield. So hopefully it comes down pressure and gives them a chance.
Thanks for your time.
All right.
Richo with a familiar face there, former Dockers coach, now Brisbane assistant, Mark Harvey. And I would imagine there could be a meltdown here because the way they're playing last week and tonight, it's worth becoming a member of these Brisbane Lions, and you can go to that site, brisbane.com, or the Lions rather, .com.au. Become a member for this season because suddenly it looks like a very exciting ride.
That's a really good quarter by the Lions. They were 12-15 down in inside 50, 7-15 down in clearances, but their accuracy of conversion, 6-1 from 7 shots compared to 5-5 for Carlton, has got them the lead. So they've been really competitive. The ball's bouncing up and down, but gee, the ability to take your shots still's what mostly wins games.
Interesting with Blackley. I mean, he didn't play in Voss's shadow at all, but he could have been captain of the club for 10 years, couldn't he? He was co-captain for a couple, I know.
Had a very special man at the top in those days,
yeah.
Michael Voss.
So good stuff tonight, and what a fantastic opening turn. Carato got a couple of clearances away early in the opener and gets the first here deep inside the 50. Robinson, no free kick. Judd just couldn't quite get the handle. Maguire out wide, and Adcock should get one, but he doesn't. Probably stiff. Robinson, Murphy, so productive. Waite kicked a couple, missed one on the siren. Inside Garlick, brilliant, and then Judd. Well, that is a special one from Judd. Gee, Lee, remember when he kicked 5 against you guys when he was a kid for West Coast of the GABBA?
He hasn't had many, but there's going to be a lot of first touch fumbles because, as I said, just keep saying there's a lot of moisture around. But this is really, the umpires know that Adcock tends to exaggerate the free kick, and I think sometimes they just say, nah, not going to fool me.
If you just watch here, Chris Judd just lurking around the side. Jed Adcock was his direct opponent, and that the defensive 50, the worst thing you can do when a player like Chris Judd around is just watch the ball because he's too smart. He got the 2 steps on Adcock, and he has the ability to really hurt you on the scoreboard.
Really put himself in to start this term. A couple of times didn't get the footy, but was hard at it.
Very cool,
Not that he
guys.
isn't always, but you just sense that after just 2 possessions in the opening term, he really wanted an early touch, and that was a classical goal.
Here we go.
Umpire Pennell, along with Stevic and Grun tonight. Redden fell over. Hacked away on the bounce by Rich down towards half forward. Gibbs, who started brilliantly, then drifted out of the game, comes back across half back and finds Curnow.
Play on.
He's got wonderful foot skills, Gibbs. Curnow lays this ball into the path of Laidler. Now Yaron, they like it in his hands. He goes down towards half forward. Scotland drifting back. He's at right half forward. Laidler's on in the middle. Thought about it, doesn't go. Betts runs to the pocket. Cruiser is long. Chooses the third option. Cruiser and Hampson in the same pack. Off hands, opportunity there for Carrazzo. Hampson's got the football. Stolen away with strength by Hudson. And he gets it to bounce obligingly out of bounds. No substitute for power. And Hudson had it right there.
Picked his pocket, didn't he? That was really good stuff by Hudson. It was a forceful pick. So there's Adcock. That ball does come out. Redden. Stiller. Just clever bump, actually, by Murphy. I mean, there's no way that not even Pythagoras could have worked out a theory to keep that ball in with that bump from Murphy. So Laidler to bring it back in. So Carlton start brightly in the second term. A pack. Maguire was strong. Adcock belting it away, just hoping to get a contest. Laidler runs off Leuenberger, goes back inside Murphy. So much of the ball. Ditto for Scotland. Scotland to set up. Waite just tries to get rid of his man. Maguire, third man in to help out. Hanley. Just corralled by Simpson. Has to go along the line. An important one-on-one. Pollock, great tackle. Gone.
And a legitimate attempt. Let the ball go.
One of the differences is where Gray free kick. That one was basically the tackle. The ball fell clear and the umpire paid the holding the ball. But so often tonight, mostly in these particular, maybe the prior opportunity was what influenced the umpire to make that call.
Didn't get a possession in the opening term, young Pollock. He had a couple of tackles. So I think he was just about the only bloke out there that didn't
Simon.
worry the scorer. So Tui. Good tackle rewarded. Carlton with a chance to kick away here. And is it coming back? I think it is. It's a goal.
That's quite interesting, Bruce. A couple of the Irishmen playing tonight are as natural AFL footballers I think I've seen. One is Tui and the other is Hanley. When they've got the football, they look as though they were born to it.
Beautiful kicks, both of them.
Both of them, yeah, and it's the way they put it down on their boot. It sort of flows. Not every Irishman has got that, and that's not a criticism. Not saying they're the best, but they look very natural with their skills.
Well, we're live and interactive tonight at this game, and there's the question there. Is Simon Black in the top 3 lines of all time? Lee Matthews.
I'm doing my mathematics, as you say, Tom. Yeah, close enough to yes.
Close enough to yes.
I'll have to do my mouth trying to add up the other players.
Stiller drives it down towards half forward. I think it's a pretty short list, isn't it?
It's a short list.
Polkinghorne kicks it down towards the pocket. Ball runs away from Leuenberger. Tui put the body in. Leuenberger controlled it well. Then gave it away to Yaron. Yaron under pressure. Wayward kick very close to the boundary line. I think it was a cross. Doesn't matter.
Hold there.
Redden's taken the ball.
Play on, you're out.
So they paid the mark. Redden told he's gone around. Otherwise, he would have been called for, I think, playing on outside the boundary there. And we might have got a boundary throw in. The ball goes out of bounds in front of Polkinghorne. We'll have a throw in.
And when you talk about Simon Black, I mean, Chris Judd and he have been, there's been no better midfielders for the last, I reckon Judd is the high-performance sports car, Black is the limousine.
Gee, can I be really cheeky? I'll give you
the good limousine.
Lee, I'm going to give you my big 3. I'm going to go in front of you. Judd, this is really cheeky, but they're all here tonight, the big 3 for the Lions, I reckon. All present at the ground. Voss, Brown and Black.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, only one of them out there playing, but they're doing okay. Leicester, Merritt, flicks it over the shoulder. Dangerous spot here. Henderson feigns a fumble. Some of these defenders sort of pretend like Milli Vanilli now, don't they? That was a bit clumsy. No one near him.
So, Curnow.
Oh.
Hancock's got him.
You're in trouble.
Leniency
Plenty of
there.
time.
Redden. Now that ball's out, is it? I feel sorry.
Just didn't quite stick the tackle in the end. If he'd held on to him, he was gone for sure.
Yep. So Adcock doesn't get him at either end, Lee. He doesn't get him when he's tackling or tackled. So Cruiser, but I think it was the right call in the end. Judd ripped off it by Redden. Allowed to go. Gee, Leuenberger. Who was that? Simpson. He was so strong there. Adcock dropped it down. Well done, Bet. Oh, this is a tough, tight footy right now. And a ball up.
Just the old style forward footy, Tom, where you in the pack, you just got to try and get yardage forward because there's so many bodies around that picking up cleanly, hand passing under pressure is just too hard.
Just finally, is there anyone else besides Black, Brown and Vossett you'd put in your top three?
Not for me. Lappin would come pretty close.
Redden goes down under a strong tackle from Simpson. Here's Black again, trying to get in front of the eyes of the judges, right in front of us.
Fourth, it'd have to be.
Well, you're splitting straws if you ever put anyone else in other than the Brown, Voss and Black.
Acker won't be happy with you blokes up there.
I was going to say, I didn't think Lee was going to say Acker.
There's Buick, camped under the footy, 60 metres out, wheels around, goes with the left boot. Dangerous time. Hudson works in front. Laidler felt the pressure but did well. Hudson lurches after the football. Laidler goes for the boundary. And it rolls tantalisingly close to the man who was pursuing Redden and goes out of bounds.
Such high tempo. We typically see this sort of football in the third quarter where it's one-on-one in this rolling maul. It's a hugely intense game at the moment.
I can't believe Mick is watching this and saying, I'm going to give this game 5 more minutes. Here's Carazzo, dragged down. Curnow, good tackle by Leuenberger. Judd emerges with the football. Little 1-2 with Murphy. Try and pull him down at full throttle. Judd did brilliantly and kicks it. I think that was his intention. There wasn't enough space for Thornton, so he ran the ball out of bounds in front of him.
Particularly this particular play, which group of players get to the boundary throw in first, because it's a bit of fatigue starting to hit already.
So it's Hampson and Leuenberger, two of the young guns, or Cruiser also for the Blues, but thinking of Hudson. Mick might be in bed tonight, you know, he's calling tomorrow. Debut for 7.
With the young guns.
Oh, Saturday. I keep thinking tomorrow's Saturday. But
well, Mick's not a young man anymore. I do that quite often, go to bed sort of 3 days before appointments.
but you don't get the days mixed up like I do you?
Yes, I do.
So there's Henderson, Gibbs, Merritt, Buick. Advantage given. Now Black's a long way from home. Back to Buick, natural left footer. Kicks to the pocket, Hanley, yes!
That's a good grab.
Pay it. Now this guy can kick a footy. Well, there you go, for twice tonight. Twice tonight he's made a mess of it. So Yaron at half-back. So no goal for a while. Oh, it's a yes!
He had the sit.
Oh, it was a great
used
sit.
it.
He was up there.
He thinks he's Cyril Rioli.
That's right.
Cyril wasn't up there that long.
I tell you
It's
what.
better than Cyril's.
He's got the aid of the parachute pants too. They fill with air on the way down. Did you notice that? It's close to the boundary. Thornton hooks it across the body. Back goes Golby. Under pressure now. Brisbane. It comes to Judd. He snaps and misses. So Betts in everything right there. Jumping again. This one first.
That was Mark's up in the schoolyard. Saw it from a mile away. He's gone, how good is this going to be?
Great call, Bruce. How about that? And then went forward and helped Judd have a shot at goal. Hampson. Well, he just saw it done. He thought he'd have a whack at it, but not quite the coordination.
Inspired.
Better than Cyril's?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Gee, I hate saying anything against Cyril. Here's Curnow. Kicks the ball inside the forward 50. Judd getting so busy here. Run down, held up. Well done by Golby. Still Judd, like a battering ram, isn't he? And then Lucas going hard, and also it was McKeever and a boundary throw-in. This last 7-8 minutes has been in a holding, I'm going to say holding pattern, it's been the most exciting holding pattern I've seen for a long time.
Block against Matt Maguire.
Against Matt Maguire.
No signal. Block. Block. Hey, Sean.
Gee, it's a big penalty, isn't it?
One thing you can be sure on with umpires, they're never going to have a look at the screen on a replay.
He thinks, of course, that Hampson wasn't the ruckman. Basically, there was 4 blokes going for the ruck contest, or 3, I guess, and Maguire thought he'd block, got pinned.
It's a fair claim.
Kicked a career-high 3 last week, Hampson, as he got it home. He does, and Carlton sneak away.
Taking his run and blocked it. No, can't block his run.
So that free kick and the ultimate penalty in the Blues, Dennis, with 3 unanswered second quarter goals, and they've pinched a break.
Now, Lee, does the umpire have some responsibility there? We'll get your opinion in just a moment. To actually find out who the ruckmen are? We'll watch the mark first, I think. Worth watching again.
Let it go. Mitch.
That's fantastic. He just jumped onto his shoulders. He didn't climb up his back, just jumped and balanced on his shoulders.
So does the umpire, Lee, have any responsibility to find out who the ruckmen are?
Well, normally the idea is that, that they nominate the ruckmen.
So, like Rich earlier, Redden goes off the ground from the centre square. And this has been a pattern of the night. Brisbane quickly replying when Carlton pinch a break. Leicester's been impressive.
And the way the game's gone, he'll pot this for sure, because the Lions have really got it working in terms of their accuracy.
Just 19 years of age, injured last year, has kicked a couple tonight, given a couple away, and there you go. The old coach knows what they can do, the Lions.
The game certainly ebbed and flowed, as most games have so far this year, with contested possessions. It was Brisbane 19-17 in the first quarter, and Carlton have been getting on top so far. But nothing replaces the quick centre clearance, and as we've discussed a bit earlier in the call, that puts the defenders under enormous pressure when the ball comes in one-on-one.
Well, Bowers just got lost, didn't he? I mean, he's supposed to have opponent control in any circumstance, but he's just playing and hoping for the long kick in, and Leicester just read the ball so much better.
Yeah, your start points become crucially important in that situation. Should have been arm across and first to move as the ball came surging forward.
So Ryan Leicester doubles his career goal-kicking tally in less than a half. 2 tonight, 4 for the career, and a rebounds. And there's nothing really in footy more exciting. That's probably not the right guy to be looking at just at the moment. I was going to say a young side with attitude, and we're looking at Ben Hudson. My apologies. As the ball comes across towards Redden, taken by Black. The old-timers dig it out of the centre. Here's Banfield, always lively, goes across the ground. Wasn't his best kick. Pollock can go away on his left foot. Black's marking off the mark. He goes very long. Oh, and just misses to the right. Well, a couple of Carlton players just wandered away there.
You'll kick those goals with a bit more experience, Pollock. He's got a beautiful kicking action, good penetration, but just early in your career, you're just not quite balanced enough.
First kick tonight for Pollock. So Hampson at half-back.
Hold there. Play on.
Oh, dangerous kick inside. Robinson very strong. Good tackle by Redden, though. Banfield, Hadcock just had an area. Was about to kick, couldn't quite. Pollock back to Black. Black, well done to Banfield. He wanted to run on. There's a blue on behind play. They sort it out. Back to Pollock. Back to Pollock again. Weaving, can't get the angle right. Oh, Merritt, third, fourth man up. Who's at the crumbs? Leicester are behind.
Well, he did that last week, Leicester, and hit the post. He's very adroit with his feet around the packs. Now, I hope Polkinghorne doesn't get fined for this, because really he's just trying to break it up.
There's been a lot of talk about Hayden Balance on it too. Mitch Robinson be right up there in that class, I reckon.
That's right. I was going to say he's no Robinson Crusoe, but then I realised he half is. There's Hampson. The two 22s go at it. The old catch-22 and one did the other. There's an opportunity. Tui comes away with the ball, kicks it up towards the wing. Leading back is Maguire. Coming across is McGrath. What a resolute player he is. McGrath gave it back to Maguire, who kicks close to the boundary line and it goes out of bounds.
It's a great movie and even a better book, Catch-22, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Sorry.
Yeah, bad couple.
Sorry,
I was going to say Hampson's had a bad couple of moments, hasn't he, really? He's got to play on. He's kicked inside and turned it over.
Joseph Heller, I think, was it?
Angelina Jolie's dad played in that.
John Voight.
John Voight.
That's it. OK, where's the ball? It's with Lucas. Quick kick forward. The Blues get it to about... Oh, but Kiva was going back hard. Over the top, Curnow. Garlett, they won't catch him. And those fancy boots get the first goal for him tonight. Got the answers at the moment, Dennis, but they're pressing hard, the Lions, but Carlton kick away again. They get to that 15-point lead once again.
You just think the next 9 minutes or so till half-time really so important. Brisbane need to be in touch. You would think this is about as far as they can let it go. Anything more than this, and it's going to be really tough for them.
McKeever really needed to go back with a bit more authority if he couldn't influence that contest. But, Richo, just a quick question. It often does get quite dewy here at the Gabba. How are the conditions right now?
No, it's not too bad at the moment, Tom. In fact, talking to the Carlton coaches before the game, it's not that warm out here tonight, and I'm not sure a heavy dew's going to come in at all.
Leuenberger feeds it back. Pollock did about 3 of them. Well done. Over the top. Back to Leuenberger. Kicks inside the forward 50. Hudson, a one-handed attempt. Slapped away there by Thornton, out of bounds. So 13 points the margin. Just over 9 minutes remaining in the half. Brisbane leading the next goal. Otherwise, suddenly, a half-time lead could be unmanageable for them. Rich did well to Black. McKeever. Oh, Mr. Carson. Well, he spilled everything.
Top the fray.
Right over the Dowager Duchess.
Brown at half-time with Tom down near the rooms, I think. You're going down, Tom?
Yeah, it looks like he might be setting himself up for a future career in the box there. I reckon he looks very comfortable.
Just in this quarter, Carlton 4 goals without a miss, and the Brisbane Lions 1-4. Free kick to Cruiser.
I want to ask Brandy whether because he's got a lot of metal in his plate after a few facial repairs, whether he goes off in the security at the airport.
I don't reckon the security guard will argue with him.
So Betts keeping the ball in. Well done by Hampson. Waite. Good tackle, but Waite was so strong to Judd, to Betts. Brilliantly done to Yaron. We know how he loves a goal. And just misses one. That would have really hurt the Lions.
I'm not sure whether he needed to take the second sidestep here. They got the handball if it was just the 1-2 kick and push it straight through.
Richo?
Yeah, Dennis just spoke about how important this next 8 or 9 minutes is. At ground level, you can definitely feel that Carlton are just starting to get a little bit of ascendancy. Yaron getting his hands on it then. Garlett getting free before. Garlett, sorry, I always get that wrong. But this is crucial. The next couple of minutes, they're starting to run, Carlton.
Margin back to 13. Redden was up, couldn't hang on. Scotland comes spilling out of the pack, as does the footy now. Leuenberger over it. Ball wedged between his legs. Nobody's soccer it for heaven's sake. And there's a free kick, and it's going against Leuenberger. He was oblivious to where the footy was, but that's no excuse. Not these days. Cruiser, long ball inside the forward 50. Oh. I'm sure that Michael Voss's heart skipped a beat.
Dangerous down there, Garlett and Betts. Whenever the ball comes off hands, two really good crummers who read the ball off the hands of the pack. Really dangerous.
So Rich. To himself. Now he drives it down the middle. Henderson with Merritt. Brisbane, weight of numbers working it forward. Not the ideal situation. The two big guys, Hudson and Leuenberger. Rockcliffe, who's been quiet, was upended. Scotland kicks inside the forward 50. There's going to be a free kick to Betts. The advantage of playing in front.
Had your hand on his shoulder.
Hand on his shoulder? Oh, he jumped up.
Yeah, and you had your hand. Right out.
they're good. Both Garlets the same. They're both pretty good overhead. I mean, we know they're crummers, but they sort of can get in the right position. Just the left hand on the shoulder, that's what the free kick's for.
Yeah. That's always been a free kick, that one.
But it was Betts pushing back into the sort of contact, draws the free a little.
Has taken what will stand as the mark of the year at the end of tonight. Comes in, and I think he's kicked his second goal. This is touch and go. We might have a review.
Okay. Third scorer. Checking if the ball hit the post. Checking if the ball hit the post.
Okay, so a bit of silence here. Don't be offended. This is nothing to get upset about.
I think it's over the line.
Hit the post.
Yes.
Ball did hit the post. Paddy. Clear.
That's what the system's for.
Right result. Do you like the review?
No, why not? If there's evidence that helps to get the right decision, use it. Simple as that.
So behind the Blues, and Buick and Thornton, Leicester, Stiller goes back to Leicester with some toe. Well done, Adcock. Just got away from Judd. Terrific smother by Robinson. Lucas going back. Adcock's second effort was good. Brisbane has sort of forced this forward. Now Henderson. Stiller to go hard with Curnow. Stiller's a lefty, so he's on the wrong angle, and Judd cut it off really well and then stood up in the tackle, but the ball ping-ponged around. Lester Blaze should have steadied a bit. He had a bit more time, then Henderson gets it back and goes short to Judd, who really got his game going tonight with that early goal in the second quarter.
9 possessions in the term for Judd. Short to Cruiser. So 3 times now Carlton have pushed out to lead by 15. Every time the next score has gone to Brisbane. And they're being tested here again. Can they hold again? Rockcliffe trying to lift. Rich to the wing. Redden, they've got the numbers here. Leicester takes a while. Buick can go over the top. Cruiser closing on Redden. Buick did well. Call for the footy. Came back to him over the shoulder to Redden. Suddenly a roadblock. Looking inside Leicester. Decides the best option is to kick.
Oh, great mark.
Wonderful courage by Tui. Ghosting across in front of the leading player, the bulky player in Merritt. Kick comes on the half volley. Down goes Simpson. Or is it Lucas at the base of that pack? It's Simpson. And the umpire's called for it.
Gee, that's courage,
isn't it?
Eyes on the footy.
Spoke about their skill level before, Dennis, but that's innate footy knowledge, knowing where to go and putting your head on the line.
Richo?
Yeah, Chris Judd, 10 possessions this quarter. Mark Harvey mentioned a team approach on him. Might be time to get one man locked onto him. Here he goes again. We might ask Lee what you'd do there.
So 11 now for the term, and now Simpson. Wait, just protected the ball so well, didn't he?
Problem is you can only tag one, and they've got beams on Murphy. Very hard to get 2 close checking matchups.
Lee, who was the first bloke you put on Judd when he ran rampant against you guys up here? Do you remember?
Was a lot of them. I can't remember. There was just one after another that day. I remember when he played his first time we ever played the Eagles, put Robbie Copeland on him on the wing. That was after he played about 10 games. He's been tagged every game since.
Got used to it, eh? You played him in.
Yeah.
I remember playing against Chris Judd in a practice game in his first year and went to tackle him and couldn't believe how hard he was for an 18-year-old just through the shoulders.
So McKeever's poor kick there is giving Mr. Carson a very bad name here tonight. The ball out wide and a boundary throw-in.
Well, he was a good kick last week. I mean, McKeever kicked it pretty well last week, but tonight, he and Hanley, the 2 Irishmen.
Good show, Downton Abbey, isn't it?
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, go on.
Boundary throw-in. There's Rich. Over the ball, Rockcliffe. They need more from him. Wonderful balance by Murphy. He's drifted out of the game, but that is as good as you will see. Reminds me of Jason Ackermanis. Acker got one from there. That's 2 for Murphy on the night. And the margin is out now to 21 points. Alarm bells are sounding, Bruce.
Yeah, look, it's a great test for the Lions, though. The intensity of this game and the pressure. If they can go the 4 quarters here, they're a much improved team. I reckon they're playing well enough tonight, Dennis, to beat probably 2/3 of the teams in the competition.
That's right.
I've said many times it might not be due on the grass, but it's a very sweaty night, so the ball gets a bit slippery. So sometimes when you've got the ball in your hands, you just got to take it on yourself, because it's very hard to set up play. That's exactly what Murphy did.
So a couple of goals to Murphy, that brilliant midfielder who can score as well. Down low, how good he was there to Lucas. Carlton now starting to really edge away late in this second term. Hanley gets it, high ball, Merritt, Henderson. Well done, Henderson. And then out of play. You must have drafted him. He's a high draft pick. Was he about
Henderson,
number 8?
yeah, very high draft pick. Yeah, about number 8. And of course he went to Carlton as part of the Favola to Lions deal a couple of years ago.
With Favola. Richo?
Yeah, just watch that contest with Merritt and Henderson. He just played it like a defender. He just needs to release and play tall. He just tried to take it off his chest.
So Scotland on the left, good coverage. Running hard was Garlett, and Betts was there as well. They'll be quick. McGrath, Judd, toe pokes it forward. So late in this opening half, and Carlton getting away now. 21 points.
I think that's the essence of it, really, when you look at great players. The definition almost doing the right thing when the hard thing to do is the right thing. Comes down to Carazzo, taken by Lucas. Stiller picked it up. Rockcliffe slips it away. In there is Murphy again, getting very busy. Garlett extends it. Gibbs snaps. It hasn't come back far enough. You think back to Murphy last week, 2 possessions in the first term, finishes the night with 32. And Judd, 2 possessions tonight, has 13 now. And the game demands that they put in. You think of Hodge, Pendlebury, Selwood, and these 2 guys. Just the best in the business. The cream rising to the top right here.
Didn't look.
Leuenberger just kicks it directly to Bauer. So Carlton control it from behind again and go out wide to Thornton.
Careful kick by Thornton, but an accurate one. Simpson.
Stay there.
So Simpson tonight, he's 146 consecutive games. He's a consistent high possession getter. Good mark, Leuenberger. He made the blue a minute ago. A couple of years' time, you can see him being
Head on. Play on.
the absolute key player maybe for the Lions. Rich caught underneath. Banfield. We've joked a bit about Hudson Lee and 33 being recruited. So is Leuenberger going to be a ruckman, or is he going to be a forward that can play ruck?
No, I think he's going to be essentially a ruckman, but just at this point in time, particularly without Jonathan Brown, then playing Leuenberger as mainly a big man in the forward line and using Hudson in the ruck. That's their setup for this first couple of weeks, at least.
Hudson, clean possession of the boundary throw-in, kicks it down towards half forward. Thornton drifting back, takes the mark.
Play on.
Across the ground he comes. Yaron, this will be interesting. Will he take Leicester on? No, he just kicks it out wide. Lucas has got the run of it. How's that for an obliging room service bounce? He goes down towards half forward. White could have almost been 50.
Stay there.
White down towards right half forward then. Looks back towards the middle. Lucas has run on.
Simon.
He's about 80 metres from goal. Murphy wants it out in front. Lax marking from behind gave Murphy a show at that one. Fisted away at the last moment by Stiller to get it out of bounds. So a boundary throw in. 69 plays 47. A minute 40 to go till half-time.
Blues pressing hard here. Cruz and Hampson. So the 2 rucks again at it. Maguire. Rockcliffe. He's had a quietish first half, Rockcliffe. Be important in the second if he can get into the game. Polkinghorne, that's good play. Now Merritt, now they're on here. He's got a panic. He's got Banfield and Yaron, so Banfield can't outpace Yaron. He kicks to the space. Ball to bounce. Who gets up first? Kick off the ground from Bauer was very effective. Back it comes. Leicester controlled it. O'Connell, too far for Buick in the end. I thought it was a good kick. Tui to mop up. Gee, they've missed a chance here, the Lions. And Carazzo takes the mark.
Play on.
Yaron was the wrong bloke to have with Banfield. Banfield had outrun most one-on-ones, but he's not going to outrun Yaron. Here's Simpson.
Cuts through the midfield. Kicks well inside the 50. Fisted away by Hanley. Bounces obligingly for Stiller. Back to Hanley. Missed McKeever. The keeper kept coming, though. Well done. Little 1-2 with McGrath. Still time. We're down to 36 seconds. Patfull gave it to Adcock. McGrath goes back to Patfull. Runs beyond the wing. Looks inside the forward 50. Merritt!
Well, she's running backwards and forwards. It's really a matter of who can make the least amount of mistakes now and hold on to the footy into the forward line. Certainly, the Carlton had the opportunity, couldn't manufacture it. Just the forward running is what both teams are engaging in. So here's the chance.
So both times at this end, a kick after the siren. It was Waite at the end of the first quarter. He missed to the right. Merritt misses to the left. See, they could have done with that one. The margin is 21 points then. Carlton 10-9-69. Brisbane 7-6-48 at the major break. It was 2 points at quarter time. Big second term by the Blues. This is Thursday Night Football. Next on the halftime show, Tom Harley chats with Brisbane Lions skipper Jonathan Brown. We go inside the Blues rooms, and it's the return of the ever-popular 7 plays in 7 days.
What a great first half we're seeing. Carlton are getting away a bit. That miss by Merritt late, but it's 7-6 to 10-9. The Blues with 5 goals in the first quarter and 5 in the second after the Lions kicked 6 in the opening term. Waite and Murphy a couple each, and Lester, the kid, has got 2 for Brisbane. So I'm with Lee Matthews here at halftime at the GABBA. Lee, we've called 3 games so far this year. We've seen 2 sensational marks, Cyril Rioli and Eddie Betts. You don't have to be big to take a good mark. Which is the better one for you?
Well, that was a terrific mark from nowhere, and this one he just jumped onto his shoulders, caught it on the way down. I'm not sure if I'd go for Rioli out of those 2, but gee, I mean, we see the mark of the year most weeks in current footy. Spectacular.
Absolute rippers, both of them, weren't they? And both so important to their clubs. I mean, they're both defending forwards. Rioli creates so much, and Betts tonight, I mean, that is just a beauty. He's got something to compare with Andrew Walker now after Walker's screamer last year.
Absolutely.
And what about the goals, Lee? I mean, Yaron last week, Murphy's beauty tonight. I know Yaron's was a bigger build-up. This was colossal, I thought, last week.
Well, it was. He just carried the footy. They didn't quite lay the tackle, and then from the acute angle, he made them pay. And Murphy tonight, again, there's a lot of bodies in that area. You're just very hard to set up the goals. He just had to say, well, I'm going to have a go at this. He just sold the dummy just to give himself a yard. Just the ball curved back with his natural arc from right to left. Great finish.
Not so much foreplay for Murphy before the goal, but boy, the end result was a beauty for both of them. Lee, Simon Black's mic'd up tonight. Let's listen in and see what he's had to say.
Push. Beam, hold. Yeah. Rock.
Downfield.
Yeah, yes. Post. Hey, rock, kick. There, kick. Hey, rock. Forward, take, hands up. Get there, Jack, get there.
Play on.
Yeah, post, Jack.
Play on.
Yeah, Jared.
Play on.
Lost that composure a bit, boys. Let's balance up. One more time, we think.
Yes, Dennis said it's great to go into somebody's office, isn't it? When you got to Brisbane, he'd only played, what, a year or 2? Black?
Yeah, he was in his second year when I got here in '99, and back then he's not a really extroverted sort of character, but now in this stage of his career, he knows he has to be one of the organisers when he gets out on the field. But one of the things we see, as basic as it sounds, if you want the ball a lot, you've got to call for the ball a lot. And Blackie's always moving and he's always calling for the footy, so his teammates always know he's there. So you get a lot of the footy. It sounds pretty basic, but calling for the footy is a good way to get a lot of it.
And what about around the club, Lee?
He's always been a terrific young man. He's married a year or two ago to Catherine. He became a father. Maybe he and Chris Judd are comparing notes because they've both got sons about 6 months old, young Lachlan, but a terrific, solid citizen, just liked by everybody. Great competitor, great work ethic, always there.
He turned 33 this year, and like Judd, he's got a Brownlow and he's got 3 premierships, actually, more than Juddy, and he's got that Norm Smith. Now, Jonathan Brown's another guy. We talked about the top 3 players ever, and he comes in. I mean, 2002, he was very young. I mean, this mark against Hawthorn's ridiculous.
It was ridiculous, and he just... my first coach, John Kennedy, said once, if you don't feel fear, you're either stupid or you're Superman. So I'm sure Jonathan Brown, if he feels fear, I have never seen him react to it.
Did you ever try and coach that out of him, Lee?
I didn't like him running back with the flight of the ball from 30 metres upfield because you could run into your teammate. I mean, ultimately, he had a really bad collision up here against Geelong late last year. And if you keep running back with the flight of the ball into the pack, well, that's great courage, but it is also, I don't think it's terribly wise play.
Well, in the last 12 months, basically, he's been injured 3 times heavily, hasn't he? Early last year, the game against Geelong, and the start of this year.
The first and third were just complete accidents. But the running back with the flight of the ball, if you keep doing that every now and again, you'll be in the wrong spot at the wrong time.
Well, here's the third one.
He's done nothing wrong there. That's just accidental. Yeah.
So that's the reason he's not playing tonight, because of that collision with Maguire at training.
It's freaky that he actually got another broken bone in his face after, like 3 broken bones, 3 facial injuries in 12 months is just freakishly bad luck.
We will be talking to him very, very shortly. Now, the Lions Hall of Fame is coming up, Lee, which, I mean, they've got a lot to be proud of at this club. You took them to 3 consecutive premierships and 4 grand finals. So that's on
And the Fitzroy part of it, of course.
Yes.
It's Fitzroy, Brisbane Bears, Brisbane Lions. It's all the 3 sort of parts of the club.
So a lot of history there. That's June the 23rd. Let's go and have a look at 7 plays in 7 days and Jonathan Brown out of the break. Zach, Brisbane on a Thursday night, an Easter Thursday night. We're going down to the Carlton rooms with Richo.
When we just come out of the meeting, what's the wash-up? How are you seeing the game?
Well, I guess they got on top of us in the stop plays in that quarter, so pushing up an extra, we've structured up to possibly stop that. I think we reduced their coast-to-coast counter-attack. So really a bit more of the same. Tackle them a bit more. You know, they've got through a couple of times and look pretty dangerous when they get through, you know. It's not rocket science, mate. There's some fundamentals of the game that we think when we stick to that we're a pretty good footy team, and we're doing them okay for a lot of the period of the time, and then when we just drop off the pace a bit in that, they make us pay. But it wasn't a bad quarter after leaking a couple of really soft goals in the first.
Not a high possession game, a pretty tight game. Do you expect that it will break open at some point in this quarter?
Well, hopefully it breaks open our way, Matthew. Yeah, both sides, a credit to them. They're hitting in hard. That loose ball is really getting driven out hard, so we'll see how it goes.
And Juddy does it beautifully. He mentions Mark Murphy's the #1 midfielder, and he gets the tag.
Yeah, he went forward and was really sparked us, didn't he? He spread well, the skipper. He's deserved a couple of more possessions the way he spread. It's probably the best I've seen him run for a while, so hopefully he continues that on, mate.
Good luck for the second half.
Thank you very much.
Brownie, you're in the coach's box. How have you seen the first half?
Oh, well, we made a lot of mistakes early, but we did well to be in front at quarter time. But the midfield really started to get on top in that second quarter, so we're going to try and slow them down a bit.
And Chris Judd obviously started to get going. We heard Mark Harvey talk about a joint team effort on him. Are you going to go one-on-one?
Well, I'm not sure, you know. Certainly him and Mark Murphy have been prime movers for him in there. The small forwards have got away a little bit as well. So, as I say, I think the game's just been played at a breakneck speed. I'm not sure if that really suits us for the whole game. They're very good at that.
And as a key forward, how have you seen Daniel Merritt's game, obviously taking your role at the moment?
Well, he's competing pretty well. He would have liked to kick that goal going into half-time, but he's done not a bad job. We've allowed too many loose players down there in the forward line, but we've only had 20 inside 50, so we need a little bit more supply to the forwards to kick a winning score.
Good luck tonight and look forward to seeing you next week.
Thanks, Tommy.
Cheers, John.
So Tom down there with the jam, and obviously fighting words, still Brisbane in the contest, but they did fall away in that second term. And I suppose the reason is, when you look at the numbers here, Lee, Murphy 16, Judd 13, Carrazzo 13. Judd in particular, as they said, has really come to the party.
Well, they're just their ability to score. I mean, Brownie mentioned the inside 50 entries. They've had 31, Carlton, but for 10 goals, and 10 goals, 9 for that matter. So both sides actually look like scoring when they go quickly forward, but I think Carlton just looked that little bit more classy to just make the most of their forward opportunities. That's really been the main difference in the game.
Well, we've seen 6 quarters, you and I, of Brisbane so far this season, and they're a different team, aren't they?
Yeah,
the attitude is great.
Playing with plenty of speed. They've got plenty of zip about them, and I think that's one of Carlton's growth. Of the top handful of teams, I reckon Carlton have got real leg speed about them, but at the moment the Lions have been matching that. But again, it's just been very much a rebound game, hasn't it? Whoever gets the ball forward sees has the extra player running onto it.
And the Lions are very quick to tell you how young their list is.
Well, you got the 33-year-old ruckman, and you got Big Goose Maguire at fullback, and you got Simon Black in the middle. So they've got a bit of experience there, but they've certainly got half their team are guys that are next generation players,
right.
3, 4, 5-year players.
Those guys ruin the demographic for their media department. Beams has been good. Of course, his brother playing at the weekend as well. He's back in the Collingwood side. So 69-48 after Brisbane led by 2 points at quarter time. Plenty of goals tonight. Plenty of action. Wonderful mark by Eddie Betts. Third term is underway. Leuenberger over the top, hooks it down. Rockcliffe waiting behind the pack, sends it high inside the forward 50. Trying to split the pack down there was Merritt, and Bauer hung on. That was a good grab.
Play on.
Bauer runs across half back, being asked to play tall in recent weeks. When they get their full complement, he probably will go back to a flank. Black, Golby falling over Redden, trying to fend off. Didn't succeed. Carrazzo kept coming.
Straight to him, Simon. Play on!
So Carrazzo down towards right centre wing. Goes very close to the man on the mark, then dances away and just drops it back behind the play. Unexpectedly, Bauer found the footy on his chest.
Jamieson and Dygam both expected to be back for Collingwood next Friday night. So I reckon if you're a backman for the Blues, you want to play pretty well tonight.
Play on.
Kick out wide. Judd unchanged tonight, Carlton. They didn't do that for the whole of last year. Didn't have an unchanged team from week to week. Judd belting it forward, Pat full. And then on the up, that was a loose handball coming out from the back. Leuenberger against the flow. Just couldn't get into his handball motion there, Leuenberger. And now Carlton with the brilliant Murphy. Centering it to Garlett. Got it.
Thanks, Eddie. Thanks.
This is a good test now for Brisbane, isn't it?
Well, it is, yeah, because Carlton just looked a bit more classy going forward, and Murphy's probably led it, and Judd was going good, but Murphy's ability, he's dropped off the Booms tag. He just got the ball too much, and there's just, if you hold on to the ball too long and trying to be too creative, turnovers are coming.
So Garlett with that goal in the first half and another straight one, and the Blues get the big lead in the match so far.
Well, to talk about their non-changing last year, their stability or the lack of it. Just an interesting article I saw during the week, Bruce, from Courtney Walsh in The Australian. He made the point that Michael Jamieson, Jared Waite and Matthew Cruiser hadn't played in the same side for almost 2 years.
Yeah, it's interesting. I read the same thing. He thought, wow, get those three together.
Yes.
Well, Mark Murphy, he has gone to the next level, if possible, this year already. Judd said it, but that kick there, that is just elite. He's already had 17 possessions, kicked 2 goals, gets the goal assist there. Perfectly weighted kick to the fat side. I think I might agree with Juddy at the moment.
Well, Judd, a couple of possessions back-to-back. Garlett inside the forward 50, fisting away Adcock. Camped in front, Stiller, tackled front on by Murphy. On the assist there, they're tag teaming in, White over the top. The umpire says no chance there for Stiller.
Watch the footy. Watch the footy. Watch.
Johnston. Hampson tries to hook it down, goes after the football. Polkinghorne put the body in. Murphy. What a wonderful young midfielder. And if my memory serves me correctly, under the father and son rule, could have come to Brisbane. One down by Leuenberger, but straight to Betts, and Betts' kick is just off target.
So that's good movement through the stoppages out into the space. Yeah, well, Mark Murphy could have come to the lines under the father and son rule, but Carlton were prepared to take him first pick in the draft. So he stayed in Melbourne to play with Carlton. If he'd been second, third or fourth, he may have been at the Brisbane.
How close were you, Lee? Did you think you had him at one stage?
Oh, well, we were hopeful, but obviously decided to stay in Melbourne when he didn't have to shift.
So if he hadn't gone #1 for the Blues...
Well, I reckon if he didn't know for certain he was going to Carlton, I reckon he would have come to the Lions.
Oh.
So not so much Carlton, but the Carlton were the first pick in the draft, so they could recruit him, basically.
Yeah.
Well, it was I think Thomas was second in that draft and Pendlebury was fifth. It was a pretty good midfielders draft as it turned out. I mean, Pendlebury and Murphy, are there any two hotter young guns?
Yeah.
I guess Selwood's the other one in that mix. Here's Garlett again, and Garlett daisy cuts it brilliantly to a bloke that was taken pretty high himself.
It's interesting, they seem to have started Hampson in the ruck and Cruiser forward in the third quarter. Changed around what they started early, but that speed of movement out of the midfield is great Carlton's strength.
See, all of a sudden, it's a bit like what they did to Richmond last week. They're doing it earlier this week. All of a sudden, they're 5 or 6 in front. So, Cruiser, 35 metres out, good kicking style, kick straight through it, and Carlton kick away again.
Nice game last week, 16 possessions for Matty Cruiser, #1 pick in the 07 draft. Just keeps working and working. One of those players who eventually gets himself into the game. It may take a while sometimes as he goes to the bench, but generally he's able to do that.
Come around this way, Mitch, okay?
Cruiser was the player who kicked the goal, and he's gone straight to the bench, but it's enabled Hanson's development as a forward, which you saw last week against Richmond, has enabled Carlton to play Cruiser more in the ruck, and I think that's where he's more naturally suited.
And of course they've got Robbie Warnock waiting in the wings, so they've got a lot of height but a lot of speed. It's an interesting combination. There's Rich alongside the centre circles, drives it well inside the forward 50, slapping it down was Merritt. Tui crumbed it nicely. Oh, clever. Murphy, not sure he gets a stat for that. Bauer, Armfield. Bauer once more, close to the boundary line, drives it beyond the wing. Leuenberger gets back, hands to it, juggles the mark, not paid. Dragged down by Thornton, bit stiff there. A lot of hands around the footy, but, gee, you'd be tempted to pay the mark.
Has he got coach in him, Lee, you think?
Oh, yeah, knows his footy. Comes from his father, Brian, has coached there, so that'd be every possibility post-playing. He'd be hoping it would be about 10 years away, of course, Tom.
So here's Leuenberger getting a free kick, having not been paid the mark.
Yeah, it was a good effort a moment ago, as you say, Dennis. He controlled that footy. Buick running hard, left foot to a bit of space in the end. Tui's been very impressive tonight. That toe poke. He's got a lot of poise, Tui, hasn't he?
Showed a good yard of pace there also, just put a couple of feet on McGrath there as he chased the football.
Fine player, McGrath. Hasn't had a chance to really impose himself tonight, McGrath. Where do they get their lift from here? The Lions, because right now they're being outplayed. First time you feel like Carlton are dominating them all night. Judd, Mark Riley, interesting with Richo about the way he's been spreading tonight.
No one forward for Carlton. This will be interesting how they play this.
And Simpson's a hard runner. He decides just to hold it up and they'll get some numbers.
Oh, no, I'll play on.
Thornton back to Wait.
It's a good decision. That's when you've got to know. You've got to be patient because going in quick, we're just going to be outnumbered.
Wait, just up and under a bit. And then Judd cleverly there and probably should have got a free kick. Black with him. And then Maguire and Simpson. And then Wait and Pat for a terrific tackle. Got him. Matty Richardson, Matthew.
But Bruce, you're just talking about how can Brisbane get back into it. Well, they need to start finding someone to take a mark inside 50. It's too hard to try and score all night without taking some marks. They've only taken the 4 all night. Merritt only the 1. They're pretty desperately in need of Jonathan Brown out there.
Curnow goes back from the Golby kick, punches towards the line. Buick runs it across.
Just no talk, obviously, there. Should have taken the mark. But I think Carlton are certainly first to the ball. Every time you see a contest, and we'll get a good look at it here.
Remember, the Lions are coming off a 5-day break. Yep. They played last Saturday, Carlton a 7-day break. I mean, all logic says Carlton should be stronger in the end.
Yep.
That's right. In fact, that weighed heavily on the non-selection of a couple of Carlton players as the ball runs inside the 50. Picked up nicely by Thornton. Chopped off by McKeever. Pollock, the short one, close to the boundary line. Redden. He drives it around that outer side. Coming up on the lead, it's taken by Merritt. Cruiser back on the ground, so not a very lengthy break. The young champ. Kick goes down towards half forward. Touched was the call. McGrath was being held. No free kick. Yaron picks it up. Goes to Gibbs. Back to Yaron. Here's trouble for Brisbane. Yaron generally distributes the ball very nicely. Finds Bauer, but at least Bauer's held up. Now running hard across the ground, Curnow. Well, Curnow just about spent. That ball lands in front. Adcock passed him, but Curnow, let's say, had the judgment. Came back, found the bouncing footy. Oh! Cruiser's problem, apparently. I think Curnow had just about run out of gas, but the big guy gets it out of bounds on the bounce. Not often you see a big man at Carlton wearing number 8, Matthew Cruiser. Generally the domain of the smaller guys. You think of Trevor Keogh, Wayne Blackwell, Dennis Benari, John Bonetti. But he's a ruckman wearing number 8 and wearing it proudly. Polkinghorn finds his way through to the wing. Leicester missed it.
With Bauer, might get back to that Fango question in a moment. Here's Carazzo. So the Lions finding it so hard to score here. They can't really get it past half forward. Bauer, he gets it to about 45, 50. Waits, big fly. Still a tap to back. Rich played well. Just looking for space. Murphy's been absolutely brilliant. Clever. He makes such good decisions.
No one forward, so he just came back. I mean, that's what good players do. They have the time and space to assess the situation, make the right decision.
And then Robinson cutting the ball deep, deep, deep. And then that ball handled over the line. And a throw in the forward pocket. So Rockcliffe, quietish night for him. So Fengo asking us, should we be playing AFL on Good Friday?
I could live with that.
Yes or no, Lee?
Yeah, yes for me.
So Rich's quick kick goes through Gibbs. Tom, you got any thoughts?
I enjoy the break. I like the Thursday night right the way through to the Monday.
Banfield to Leicester.
I think we're playing Thursday night as well, Tom.
Perhaps it is.
And then Bauer to Carazzo. Dennis, what about you?
I like the break.
Free kick down there. Carlton free kick. It's a Carlton free kick. Zach. It's your free kick back over here. Daniel. Let it go. Let it go. I played a free against you. If there was anything untoward, it'll be captured by the video, all right? You just play the football.
So
there you go.
Good explanation, Gibbs. Well, I'll go with Tom. I like the break too.
Hang on, that means 3-1 against Lee. That's not right. Let's have a recount.
But Lee's votes count for 3.
Oh, okay, so it's deadlocked. On the outer side, here's White. Question of accuracy. Runs in and nails it. He's got 3, and Brisbane have got problems.
He's a good player. He kicked 36 goals a couple of years ago. He's a bit of a hothead, as is Daniel Merritt, but both combative forwards. This bloke can just hang and take a great mark. Pretty good kick for goal. I think last year when he didn't play late in the year in that final in Perth, and they didn't have him later, for Carlton to go top, they need weight. He's an X factor.
Come on, Richie, let's go.
That's where leadership is critical. When the ship is sinking, that's when the real composure. So just hold it together upfield.
Unfortunately, it's a topical time for that, Lee. The 100 years since you know what.
Yeah.
As here's Judd through the centre to Murphy, and then Murphy goes bang. Oh, he's a great player, Murphy. Finds Simpson.
There's the difference right there. I think the way they've used the ball forward.
Yeah. But there's plenty of space now, isn't it? There's going to be free players for both teams. It's a question with can the player with ball in hands find them?
This is going to be a tough team to beat, Carlton, this year.
Yeah.
Well, particularly with the way the games are being played at the moment and the absolute critical importance of the midfield. Their midfield's as good as anyone in the competition.
They've got Collingwood next Friday night.
Well, that's going to be a great game, yeah.
So 9 goal kickers for the Blues so far tonight. That spread's impressive as well. So Simpson got a great view of this. Yep, so they've got 10 goal kickers and they've charged away here. That midfield's so deep, Dennis, isn't it? I mean, it's layer after layer, isn't it?
Yeah, exciting. Simpson is one who gets under the guard, doesn't he? Bombs up, kicks a goal. Hasn't had a stellar night by any stretch, just 11 possessions, but we've seen him go off so often. There's always one that's very hard to contain if things run right for the Blues.
Yeah, they're deep. And Judd and Murphy's so good at the top, aren't they?
Definitely willed his way back into the game, Chris Judd. They've let him run free basically since quarter time. Talk about the depth of Carlton's midfield. It's the balance that they've got of inside and outside players. You've got brilliance in Judd and Murphy. You've got tagging capabilities of Carazzo, and you've got class of Gibbs and Simpson.
Judd again, Murphy. Something of a clinic now. Oh, well done by McGrath. He wasn't watching the clinic. He arrived quickly and in ill temper. Murphy slung. Black, his third possession of the term, gave it to Adcock. Redden goes down. Polkinghorn only as far as Carazzo. Now Garlett's away. Garlett open goal square, kicks another one on the run. 3 goals to Garlett.
How hot was that footy around the middle? I mean, and Carlton came up with it. I mean, this is the kind of game where somebody's just got to kick it forward. And when you try to actually just flick it around by hands, it's like pressured handball, pressured handball, pressured handball, pressured handball. But then Carlton just seemed to be the one that are getting the ball into space. The key disposal eventually goes into space.
That's great hands there by Andy Carazzo. He's picked that up literally off his bootlaces, starting to surge forward. And the balance that they've got of ball winners and the speed to get it out to players like Garlett.
It's only going to get better too, boys. We've got Jamison and Dygan obviously to come back in the next few weeks, but it's creating a few headaches for selection because Bauer's been really good down back tonight. He's had 9 disposals in this quarter. All good teams have those problems, I guess.
Armfield paddles it forward, picked up by Cruiser towards half forward. Just get the feeling now the run is on, the rot's in. Falling to the ground, Redden gets boot to ball, sends it out towards the wing. Bauer, interesting. Sends it down towards half forward. Adcock's in the road. There's Black, another hand pass. You think back to his great performance in that grand final. 39 possessions in 03. Trying to lift his team here. Meantime, Merritt is dragged down. Henderson gets the free kick. Former Lion. Across the ground he goes and finds Robinson.
The indecision from Merritt there came because there were just not an option. The defensive structures at the moment of Carlton across half-back are outstanding.
Scotland, who started the night on the bench, has a bounce, runs to right half-back, pulls it back towards the middle. That was pretty ambitious. Thornton, back to Scotland, back to Thornton. Decides he'll try this side now and comes to Bauer. Bit of a story too, Bruce, talking about grand finals. Heroes and villains of past grand finals. As this ball goes out of bounds, gives me an opportunity to talk about Meatloaf's latest album. He released a new one during the week. Art Mirrors Life. It's called Hell in a Handbasket. And the reviewer said Meat sobbed his lyrics instead of singing. Well, he caused Andrew D to do the same thing. There goes the kick from Judd inside the forward 50. McKeever missed it. Waite missed it. McKeever comes again.
I feel like he's one of those blokes that played in the grand final, didn't get a touch, don't you, Meatloaf? Back to Hanley. Hanley short one out wide. By the way, Lee has got a lot of pull. 69% on Fango say yes to Good Friday footy.
Oh, that's because it's Lee.
I just go with the majority. That's where it works.
I think the majority go with you, Lee. That's the way it works.
I'm with Lee too also, boys.
Oh, now. There's Yaron. Through midfield, Yaron, searching kick inside the forward 50. Garlett almost. Oh, arriving in the nick of time, Maguire. Maguire over the top, McKeever. Oh, taken high. Well, he dodged a bullet there, did McKeever. He was just getting into his situation where everything has to be plumb-lined. He got clothesline. Short one to Hanley.
To halfback. Now with Beams, who's had a huge job tonight. So the Blues with the advantage to Cruiser. So Rockcliffe just minding the mark. Cruiser's going to do the big switch here to Bauer. As Richo said, he's been a good contributor, Bauer. Had a terrific season, about 3 back, and then injuries have made it hard for him. Wait, outpointed by Maguire, and then McGrath. Leicester was impressive early. Going to find out a bit about the Lions here. Now, good win last week. They're being hammered right now after they kicked 6 goals in the opening term. In fact, since the opening term, it's been 10 goals to 1. So important that they hold some form here, not with a kick like that. Henderson to Armfield, to Henderson. And then Gibbs off a step. Asks a bit of Garlett, and mark taken by Patford.
There are really heavy legs. It looks that way when you look out. It's been a 5-day break, and none of the Brisbane players look to be gliding across the ground.
Redden, Hanley, searching kick inside the forward 50. Oh, terrific attempt there by Merritt. Arm being held.
Now, Dennis, you spoke about Meatloaf before.
Yes.
I don't reckon there's a bigger music fan in the game than Daniel Merritt.
Is that right?
So he's pretty ubiquitous on Twitter as well. He should actually give us a synopsis of that Meatloaf album, and I'll take it as gospel.
Okay, well, on balance of evidence I'm not sure that Meatloaf qualifies. I think he's past his best, don't you?
Well, Merritt's had 2 shots for goal. What did Meatloaf say? 2 out of 3 ain't bad. He's 1 goal.
Bruce.
Well, I'm just looking at the stats. He's 1 goal, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
The genius of McAvaney. I'll handle this, Bruce. That's enough. There goes the kick. And he misses.
Not a good time for Meatloaf at the moment.
You know how defenders love playing forward. You reckon Big Rog Merritt would be sort of thinking, oh, it's good I can go back to defence when Brownie comes back? Or, no, I like it up here.
I reckon he likes
Getting
it up
on
there.
the end of the kicks.
Don't you love Lee? I mean, we're talking about Meatloaf for half an hour, and then he comes, he talks about the footy, you know. You've heard of Meatloaf, Lee, haven't you?
Play on.
Yes. I was at the grand final last year. I saw him, I think.
Holding, Brisbane, threw him out of the contest.
Free kickers go to Adcock.
Holding.
Substitution has taken place. Which way, Richo?
Yeah, Brisbane have made the sub. O'Brien on, and the big fella Ben Hudson has gone off. They definitely need some more runs, so good timing, I'd say, by Michael Voss.
Throw that in.
Buick takes it across the line. So we're counting down to 3/4 time. Big turn by Carlton. Last week they were challenged in the 3rd quarter. They won it with big second and final turns. Hudson, workmanlike tonight.
Play on.
Redden trying to find a way through. Robinson was waiting for him. Judd flicks it out to accommodate Gibbs. Well done, Adcock. He's a player growing in stature.
No, he's battled tonight, I reckon Hudson. Maybe he's had his career best game last week. For the Lions, that is.
He'll battle on.
Yeah, he'll battle on.
Judd to Robinson. So Collingwood are going to have to play well tomorrow night to be favourite next Friday night. I think a lot of people will be picking Carlton.
Well, again, Carlton have got the 8-day break compared to the slight short one. And always, particularly early in the year, I reckon, when everyone's a bit tired, getting ready, getting match fit anyway, it's even more of an advantage.
So Murphy to Garlett to Yaron, and then Yaron off a step. Interesting, Yaron and Rich were in the same draft. Yaron taken at 6 and Rich taken at 7. So here's Simpson. He's kicked a goal much closer in than this so far tonight. And that one just to space in the end. He was looking for Carazzo on the burst. McGrath off the ground. Rockcliffe, Redden. Just a careful kick, but Merritt did well actually to make a contest. And then Yaron's handball back. Bollock in hard on Thornton and then hard on Scotland. And then Henderson ducks and weaves. Tui.
Short one to the skipper. He decides to settle it down.
2 extra Lions players back, so they just have to be a bit patient now. I mean, the Lions have gone into percentage control, really. They're getting players back, but putting terrible pressure on their forwards. They've got, it's like a brick wall back there for Carlton.
Yaron alongside the centre circle. Scotland is on for the short one. Yaron decides to run. Oh, terrific chase. Merritt could have almost got a free kick there, surely. Nothing doing. Scramble. Eventually it comes to Black. Looks down towards half forward. Henderson gets back and takes an uncontested mark. He's forward of halfback.
Hands on hits everywhere. You can just see the players there, both sides out on their legs.
Across the ground. And on the wing, the mark is taken by Simpson. Judd now leads all comers in possessions. That's remarkable, given that he only had 2 quarter time, and we haven't played 2 quarters since.
That's the thing with two absolute gun midfielders. It's very hard for the opposition. If you try to tag one, the other one gets off the hook. So Judd and Murphy are just complementing each other beautifully.
He's had 11 in this term, 4 clearances, and now Yaron decides to run around the outer side. Merritt working hard, working over time. Oh, he's done it again. Well, we were talking about Meatloaf. I tell you what, 2 out of 2 isn't bad.
That's a better grab.
That's a better grab, it is, because they stopped in front of him inexplicably and he kept coming.
And the ball stuck. I mean, it's just always better if the first grab it sticks from the big loop. Look at this.
Time back on, please.
That is outstanding.
Can you average 2 marks for mark of the year or something like that? Can you? That's great, isn't it? Gee, that's good.
And that's a sinking feeling when they all separate and down you come. I mean, that's great. And not much assistance from the shorts there because he was parallel. Got to factor those in. So Betts, 35 metres out, deserves a goal. That's the finish. Oh, we'll see that again and again and again.
Well, he's had a night, an unforgettable night. 2 colossal marks. Take your pick for mark of the year so far. The Rioli's was a good one when we had another look back, but gee, fantastic stuff. A couple of goals, but it won't be the goals that'll be remembered by tonight. And for Vossi, well, it's a headache now.
Keep going the footy, guys.
Gee, lightning does strike twice, eh? That's just an amazing.
I always think a mark where the first feel, the ball just sticks in your hands. That's always better than the juggled one.
And the pack. That's a genuine pack mark. He had the bona fide he sit the previous one.
So Rich out of the centre, Murphy run down, good tackle.
Play on, put it out. Yours now.
Now coming from O'Brien, and then Polkinghorn's long ball into Thornton.
Play on, play on. Mate.
Lee, I mean, he's taken 2 screamers tonight.
Absolutely.
But he's actually a very good mark overhead, isn't he? That's one of his
Well, that's the thing. Like
tricks.
Stephen Milne, they can play almost as a small full forward and lead on to the kick as well, which is why they're so hard to match up.
50 goals last year. I mean, that's an elite return for a small forward in the game. So Mark Lacroix was doing that at the last couple of years, but that's about as good as you get for that position.
As a defensive group, you need to respect those sorts of players. I think Dustin Fletcher probably revolutionised that, the player who could play tall and small, and we would often, against Carlton, put on a marking target and challenge them in the air that way.
Brett Ratton will be talking to us at 3/4 time. It's going to be a happy coach. Judd held on to Murphy, Carazzo, Curnow. So impressive, Carlton. And that's a free kick.
Holding.
Well, Eddie just came off the ground down here and the crowd went nuts and Eddie gave them a little wink. I think he's pretty happy with his marks.
Stay there.
From the wing then, just prodding it forward. Unfortunately, Yaron misses his target from Carlton's perspective. Patfull just hanging back there. 35 seconds remain in the term. Lucas goes up, claims it. So just 1 behind in this term to Brisbane. You've got to say congratulations to the AFL as well. Having a bad week, but even so. The changes they've made, it's not their job to worry too much about how the clubs go about things from a club perspective. Their job is to make the game as attractive as possible. And we're seeing some wonderful marks and some wonderful free-flowing footy now. I know Mick mightn't like it, but what can I say?
Stay there.
That's Malthouse, not Jagger. On the wing, it's Gibbs. There's the siren. 3/4 time, and fitting. That man finishes up with a footy. Well done, Eddie. Blistering term by Carlton. They just run the Brisbane Lions ragged. 3/4 time. Carlton 16-10. Brisbane 7-7. This is Thursday Night Football.
free kick. Zach.
It's your free kick back over here.
Daniel.
Here, it's Carlton
Let it
free
go.
kick.
Let it go. I played a free against you.
Bungie, tell them discipline down there. We can't afford those soft free kicks. Tell them discipline down there.
Talked a lot about Black's leadership tonight. It's been great to listen to him.
Bunge's Ash McGrath, so he was in that part of the ground to just say, listen, let's not give away undisciplined free kicks.
It's been a tidal wave, hasn't it? I mean, Carlton have been so good. Betts, these two unbelievable marks for a guy his size. OK, you've got one pick. Which is the mark of the night?
I'm going to go for the second one.
Yeah, second one for mine. The fact that he gloved it cleanly when he was horizontal there in the air, that was outstanding.
Gee, what do you do now if you're the coaching staff at Brisbane?
Yeah, when you sort of all of a sudden you're 9 goals down, the game is pretty much gone, you would think, but you still want to play the game out strongly, so you're kind of still treating it that way. But there is an element of shuffling the deck chairs when you're in this position, and they're tiring, I think, much more than Carlton as well.
Here's Brett Ratton. He's made his way over to Richo. Matthew.
Well, Rats, that was a great quarter, 6 goals to a point. What did you like most about that?
I thought our pressure was really good, and we forced, I suppose, all their footy going forward was under extreme pressure, and we got some clean ball and used it really well.
Now, what's Eddie Betts doing? Does he think he's Warwick Kappa out there or not? It's fantastic.
Yeah, it was a great mark, but, you know, Eddie needs to be mindful of the big fellas he got down there, but when it's his turn to go, he went and he clunked one, which was great.
How important now is it to keep your structures? You're well on top of the game.
Yeah, I think about looking after our group now is really important, but sort of the way we want to play as well. We'll get to try some things there, but knowing that Brisbane can score multiple goals really quickly, so that's in the back of our mind as well.
Thank you.
Good on you, Richard. Thanks.
We talked about the Lions and their coaches. This was just before they got to the huddle, Lee.
Well, that's you're trying to think, how are we going to position the team? How are we going to approach this last quarter? There's a lot of heads there, of course, but again, it is the shuffling the deck chairs. That's the term I've thought you get into occasionally.
Carlton, by the way, $6.50 into $5.50 right now for the premiership on the back of these 3 quarters tonight.
They've kicked the last 8 goals in this game. Cruiser and Leuenberger, won by the latter. Murphy, Judd. We've said that a few times tonight in quick succession. Down towards half forward. Maguire able to fist it away. Roving the pack was Leicester to Hanley. Hanley takes something off the kick. Nice spread there by Leuenberger, getting across quickly.
I think one thing Lions look like they're trying to do, don't have the spare man back, because that is just making it impossible to get forward at all. So they're going to play seemingly even numbers forward and back.
Maguire. Defensive side of the wing goes down towards half forward. Merritt in front. Rich. Too slick for Hanley. Recovers pretty well though. Hacks his way past Judd. Good mark almost. Reaching over the top Redden. Crumb though by Laidler. Now Scotland draws a man. Bauer. Banfield, who's been very quiet, bearing down, and Bauer decides discretion is the best part of defence.
They haven't had to concede much scoring at all since quarter time. The Lions just with the 1 goal since.
Remember the rule: if you're under pressure, you can concede the behind.
Such a dasher off half-back, Aaron. The move was already made last year. Tui's been impressive.
Yep.
One of 3 Irishmen out there tonight. Gibbs, so good with the ball. Murphy, well, he's just continuing on. Demands the lead, and well done. Protected the footy really well there, Robinson.
And the good kick, because it allows Robinson full pace into the footy, hands out in front.
Gibbs has got forward. Now fell over Gibbs. He's usually so elegant on the footy field, isn't he? That wasn't one of his finest moves. No dancing with the stars for Gibbsy this weekend.
Yeah, not much strength in the legs in this part of the game.
And sometimes there are invisible landmines in the 4th quarter. You just trip over them and end up face down.
Batful out of defence, a high ball towards the wing. McKeever stayed standing.
They've done that well all night, Carlton. It's been Laidler or Henderson or Bauer who's been able to peel off and be that 3rd man and make it very difficult for the Brisbane forwards.
Cruiser into the path of Murphy. Judd not far away. Ball still live close to the boundary line, taken across by Laidler. Murphy, had he controlled that football, had Judd on for the hand pass. They've done that a lot tonight. Working in close, the pair of them. Boundary throw, and Leuenberger brilliantly down to Rich. High ball inside the forward 50, turns everyone around. Merritt, open goal, beckons. Oh, that was clever. He went with the left boot and put it through. He's got 2.
So Merritt, a couple of goals last week, a couple of goals. I think Dennis had only kicked 1 goal in 6 seasons prior to. He kicked some goals earlier, but the last 6 seasons he only kicked 1 goal, and obviously he's been playing full-back. Hard to kick a goal for full-back, but he's kicked 4 in the last 2 weeks.
When these games open up to, Bruce, there's more room around the packs, and it helps the ruckman. That was brilliant ruck work.
Never been any question marks around Daniel Merritt's second effort. I think he's been quite serviceable under a hell of a lot of duress, outnumbered often. Has been a positive for the Brisbane Lions tonight.
So since quarter time, 2-7 now to 11-5. So it's been a long time between goals. Good hands by Black to Buick. Oh, gee. McKeever missed one he should have got, but the ball's still there. Black, brilliantly done. And then Judd cut it off and got it back. So 2 great champions there as Tui gets some good distance. Curnow held on to. McGrath with him. Good contest. Now Curnow, that ball down low. Murphy comes in to help him out. And that one, a boundary throw in.
Lee, we've heard some great comments from Simon Black. He's obviously marked up tonight. In your experience with some of these more senior players, who are the ones who can help him in that leadership role around the footy?
That's the problem. You're not out there, but I think it's a bit of a one of their midfield. Jed Adcock has to be involved in that part of the game, but Simon Black is he's the experienced leader out there, and he's showing it tonight, Bob. We can hear how he's trying to go about helping his teammates around him.
Here's Hanley just popping it out of bounds, straight out of bounds. Carazzo. Murphy a little reluctant to give it up. That's what happens when he gets so much of it. Carazzo. Well, he got into his move very early, about halfway to the man on the mark. Kick comes inside the forward 50, spills behind the pack. Well, White was headed for the goals. Left the ball behind. Curnow dragged down by McGrath. Packville did well, split the pack. Bit of a fumble there from Redden. Kept his head though, well done. Goes short on the bounce. Black has got it. Little chip kick towards midfield. Gibbs the first to arrive. Much better balance that time. Goes to Bauer. Jabs it forward to Curnow. Armfield. That's nice. Measured the kick, and Murphy just knocking up, getting possessions now. Goes down towards right half forward onto the chest of White.
Josh, back here. I think I'm starting to agree with Chris Judd. Spot on. About Murphy being better than Judd. I mean, haven't they been fantastic tonight as a pairing?
Yes.
The two of them have both been terrific.
51 possessions between the pair as White drives it down towards full forward. Oh, Garland had it, and his mind got ahead of his foot.
Okay, what about pairings? Judd Murphy, obviously. Can you think of another couple in the competition?
What about Pendlebury and Swan, who they play against next Friday night? I mean,
yeah, Pendlebury and Swan. Obviously, well, even Bartel and Selwood probably, let alone Ablett and Selwood when they were both there.
Pushed out Echo. But next Friday night, you've got Pendlebury, the same age as Murphy from the same draft. Swan at Judd's stage, basically, maybe a year younger. I mean, that's a colossal matchup, isn't it?
And with all these pairings we're talking about, it's a great complementary balance between inside-outside play.
Tell you what, it'd be a brave man to try and pick the best 2 out of Swan, Pendlebury, Murphy or Judd.
Dennis is a brave man.
Well, I agree with the pairings you've tossed up, but I think Sewell and Mitchell probably don't get their due, probably because they're not quite what we're talking about, 2 inside players.
Here's Scotland, 100 votes between those 4, by the way, in the Brownlow last year, the 4 we mentioned next week. Waite, Garland onto it, Waite down low, back to Garland. He's kicked 3 tonight, held up, and Brisbane just hanging on here, and a ball up.
That's the odd thing about, say, Lance Franklin, isn't it, really? I mean, we all acknowledge easily the most exciting player in the competition, won best and fairest, and while he's done that, Sam Mitchell's won 3.
Yep. Underrated for his skills too, Sam Mitchell.
Terrific. But we're talking quality upon quality, aren't we? Oh, the combination.
There it is.
The combination like a tag team at WrestleMania suddenly pulls something out. Murphy to Judd. Something out of nothing.
Oh, Dennis, if only the Beast had a Murphy or a Judd to work with in a tag team, how good would he be?
I think they think a bit quick for the Beast.
Gee, I tell you, they've built something tonight, these two guys. I mean, when I'm talking, just this match tonight, this has been a fantastic performance by these two guys.
They remind me of the Cracker Brothers.
They're cracking good, I can tell you.
That was terrific, wasn't it? It was going out of bounds and Murphy kept it alive.
Who gets the votes tonight?
Here we go, guys, here we
We've got
go.
a Swiss player of the night, haven't we?
Sure.
Judd for me. Lee's thinking. As Carlton go on their merry way. So Judd with a couple. And Murphy with a couple. And it was really Judd's goal in that second quarter that got him really involved.
It's only halfway through the last quarter. We can't give the votes yet.
So Simpson down, long wait. Well done, though, in the front. Coming from Leicester. So he's been at both ends, Leicester. That was a terrific effort. Hanley's had a quiet one tonight, along with Rockcliffe. They're two young stars last week. Quieter tonight. Redden's been good. Short. Find out a bit about it. Who can play at this level tonight, don't you, for Brisbane?
Yeah.
Move it on, please.
Well, they've been forced to handball a lot. They've had 148 kicks and 116 handballs, and that's been Carlton's pressure, just not allowing them into space and just sort of coughing up those quick handballs out under pressure.
So Robinson back to Gibbs. And then back to Russell. So Russell on the ground now as the sub. Pollock, who's worked his way into the game after a slow start. Black, forever trying to create, and he does here. Golby running on, and that kick to the pocket. Merritt's got it.
Well done.
He has kicked 3 goals once in a match before, Merritt, but only the once.
Daniel, that's your line.
So there's the big hit on Armfield. So Sauce with a chance here. Got 3 against Collingwood 7 years ago at the Gabba. So that was a...
Get looked at.
Tugged it a bit. So if Brown plays next week and hopefully Drummond, Merritt and will go back.
We'll go back in him. He's kicked 2 goals, 3. I mean, he's been serviceable down there. He just a little bit of inaccuracy could have, easily kicked 4 goals.
Karatza to Gibbs to Scotland.
And the ball hasn't been down there much. Still only 36 inside 50s.
Play on.
I wonder what the stance is of Carlton regarding 2 interchange and 2 subs. I think I agree with Nathan Buckley that maybe it's a bit quick changing things again next season, but by the same token, I think Carlton is a side that would go pretty well with the 2 and 2. And speaking of the 2, here's one of the 2 that have starred tonight, Chris Judd. Just repeating, 2 possessions in the first term. He's now about to have his 29th. And we've still got 12 minutes to play, doing exactly what Murphy did last week. Slow start and the big finish. He's doing it all now. Marking above his head. And those shoulders sound like a garage door. 3 goals to Chris Judd.
So his last 3 games against the Lions here at the Gabba, he's averaged 30 disposals. Now, Judd is unlike Swan and Mitchell. He doesn't always get those 30 disposals. He's not as prolific. He's more combative and probably more explosive. But 3 goals tonight and closing it on 30 has been a great performance. It's his 90th game tonight for Carlton. 90th game. It's only the 2nd time he's kicked 3 goals for the Blues. Got 5 here at the Gabba for the Eagles a long time back in 2003. But he might be getting himself another heap of Brownlow votes tonight. Adcock's kicked to half forward. Yaron poking it off the ground. Redden's been really good. Tries to handle it to Banfield. Banfield's had the defensive role on Yaron tonight, but he hasn't been able to impact offensively at all. Scotland's kick. Adcock. Rich. Well, handball straight to Carrazzo. And then Carrazzo to Thornton. And Thornton to Simpson on the burst.
Simpson takes on Maguire. Gets around him too easily. Pushed in the back was Betts. He'll get the free. That time he didn't hang on, but it matters not. Just speaking of Chris Judd, his career high is 39 possessions against Brisbane, round 5 of those 6.
You know, I had a chat to him before round 1. We showed the interview last Friday night, and he said he was quite happy to be going on and off the field, which happens in the modern game.
Murphy taking a shot at goal.
Just to explain that, I thought for certain doing what he's doing tonight is basically playing on ball and going into the forward line, having a spell in there. Surely any footballer would like to do that if he had a choice, perverting the, expecting the opposition to doing the same.
Particularly the players who have played for a long time. I think even in the junior competitions now through the TAC Cup and the under-18s, players come in expecting only to play 80% of the games, but the players who have been around for a long time, like Judd and Black, I don't think they'd enjoy going to the bench.
But he is the captain, so what's he going to say? The consummate pro as the ball goes out of bounds.
But, I mean, that's the thing we don't see, unfortunately, from the really great midfielders now. We don't see what they can do as forwards. Judd would be a fantastic player out of the forward 50. So would Murphy, but at the moment they go off the field instead of going forward.
Who knows? It could change. Here's Hanley.
Maybe we could go back to 18 plus about 6 subs.
Well, if that's the case, would you cap interchange, Lee?
The trouble with capping interchange is that at other levels of footy, you've got to count them. There's got to be a penalty if you exceed them, and so minimum having a certain number of interchange just didn't seem to be something that's going to work, in the whole footy community.
And it's open to abuse too, isn't it? Late in terms with injuries and a few vagaries that perhaps you don't think about going in, but I'm not sure the coaches can be trusted. Here's Yaron. Just chips it out wide, and the mark is taken by Waite. Waite, the short one. Thornton. So Thornton just forward of the wing. Henderson is on in the centre circles. He ignores that and goes long. Hampson, well, he was surprised by it. Fell in front to Betts. Hurried kick. It was touched off the boot. Open goal. Simpson goes in. The hand pass came from Gibbs.
Goals to Simpson, so they're midfielders. Murphy 2, Simpson 2, Judd 3 tonight. Small forwards, Garland 3, Betts a couple, Waite a tall forward 3. So it's been a great spread by Carlton, and that's the thing. You feel like each year their depth has got greater, built around Judd. Judd's been the cornerstone. They're a powerful unit.
Well, this was great from Eddie Betts. Watching that contest, he could have gone for the mark, but he pulled out, turned around, went front and square, got the crumb, then resulted in a goal to Simpson. Brett Ratton talked about him flying at three-quarter time and staying down at times. Did it perfectly then, Eddie.
So Murphy to Judd again, and then to Robinson. So he's a quick learner, as Eddie, but I hope he keeps flying like he was. biggest win Carlton's ever had against Brisbane here. They had a massive win against Gold Coast last night.
Those coaches just spoil the spectacle, don't they? I mean, we want Eddie jumping on the packs.
Yep.
Yes.
25,900. 44 points, the biggest win they'd had against the Lions here, the Blues, but they've made a mess of that tonight. Maguire from McGrath. Lee, the Lions, well done. The Lions won 4 matches last year. We thought last week was terrific.
Yeah. I think they're quite capable of getting up to their 7 and 8. I mean, I think they can work their way out of just being, pretty much a team that lost most weeks.
Lucas, Tui's been very good. Obviously, he's not going to give up his spot without a struggle. Coming up was Maguire, spilled it, Padfield, McGrath, knocked back into the congestion there by Garlett, thumped out by Golby. Rockcliffe trying to finesse. After the ball goes Garlett, Rockcliffe endures a fair bit of battling, eventually just pushed it forward towards the boundary. Now Polkinghorne takes over and the ball goes out of bounds. A lot of work for little return.
What I think tonight has shown, and we saw it also against Richmond, is the importance of experience, but experience playing together as a group. So Murphy, Gibbs and Judd and these sorts of players in Carazzo have now probably strung together 100 games as a group. The Brisbane Lions, like Richmond last week, are only starting that journey now. And that time together is really, really important.
have it, guys.
Black and Brown are the only ones left from your era.
The problem is for the Lions, I mean, Black's sort of, I think, 32 soon, if not already.
No,
so
33 this week.
33 this week.
Yeah.
So on that basis, I mean, he's not going to be there that much longer, and he's still the key to their midfield.
Murphy rode to Brantley. Judd provided the shield, and then Murphy kicks the ball long and touched. Well, Black and Brown are the only premiership players left. I mean, there's a sprinkling of other guys like McGrath and Adcock up there and Drummond.
Yep. Well, there has to be Redden, Rockcliffe, Polkinghorne, these sorts of players getting games together, getting 50, then to 100, and then you'd start to expect some really consistent, strong performances.
So Stiller.
Like Rich has been good tonight. He's had 15 kicks, and he's a good kick of the footy.
Stiller's kick was slack, and Waite's going to dribble it through for his 4th goal.
Avalanche continues now. What a remarkable second half. In the second half, how many goals have they kicked? Just
15-8 to 2-8, I think, since quarter time. 15-8 to 2-8 since quarter time.
Well, he's a bit of a forgotten man tonight. He's played very well, Jared Waite. Not a great decision to come inboard there by Brisbane. To kick the 4 goals now, 19 disposals, 11 marks. That's a really good night at the office in any language for a forward.
Hampson, Judd. It's going to be a free kick. And
holding
it's
Chris
going
Judd. Play to Jason Zone.
To Judd. Not for what happened then, but I think prior to the bounce.
I didn't play it, but
there you go.
clear hold.
So Judd just keeping that margin over Murphy. Oh, Cruiser! That was a strong grab.
That's what you want your ruckman to do. I mean, he's a good ruckman, Cruiser, but gee, if he can go into the forward line and jump at the footy like that. He just didn't stand there and reach. He just jumped from the front spot.
And people forget he's coming back off major surgery, so he's just going to get better. That's a nice one to have in the bank. They seem to have just about everything you need, Carlton. That's not a guarantee they'll succeed, but they'll go close on what we've seen in the opening 2 rounds. Although Cruiser hangs this out to the right, it increases the margin. 134 plays 57, just over 7 minutes remaining in this one on Thursday night footy.
Yeah, Cruiser had the knee and then a foot last year, and he's only played 25 of the last 47 games for the Blues, so much upside with him. Carazzo, back to Cruiser, to Curnow, and then Curnow to Armfield.
Stay out, stay out.
And the umpire says sorry to Murphy, just got in his road. So Murphy just chips it to Betts, flying high and hard from the front. And then Betts' handball over the top. Simpson's kick 2, and just misses.
So the thing that I liked about Carlton last year, they just got beaten by the Eagles in that final in Perth, which was a really good effort. Gibbs didn't play. Judd was sort of in a bit of a bad patch of form. I don't think Cruiser played that night. I'm just trying to think. But that was a really good performance to make you think they got something to offer to go even higher.
No, he missed out that night. Carazzo
did well. Simpson getting plenty of the football in this final term. Yaron just peels off the pack, came to meet it. Scotland 25 metres out, and he kicks another one. Well, it was interesting there. Brisbane had players on their heels, defenders just staying back off the footy, and Yaron had no hesitation at all in going to meet the ball. Michael Voss would have been delighted. I said earlier, would have had a smile from ear to ear after last week's game, but tonight, well, it certainly changed complexion completely since half-time. The last 11 goals to Carlton.
So as good as Carlton have been tonight, the real upside comes, you've got to say, with Jamison and Daigan across half-back for them.
That's going to strengthen them up further, isn't it?
It's hard to see on this performance who makes way.
And their leading goal kicker isn't playing, Walker, and I think he's very close to playing as well. And Warnock's the other jigsaw puzzle, isn't he? I mean, can you afford to have Warnock and Cruiser and Hampson? So Curnow. I wonder what Collingwood have got to offer tomorrow night Saturday night against Richmond. Out wide goes Simpson and Judd again. He's been kicking the ball a long way tonight, Judd. No, he's not going to go for that. He's going to kick the ball to the pocket, and Yaron's taken a nice mark.
He's just cruising in there, Yaron. He's a bit of fun. Get into the forward line and join the goal kickers.
They've had 11 goal kickers so far tonight, the Blues.
It's a great story, Chris Yaron. Came through the draft, obviously a high pick, had some troubling times as a teenager in Western Australia, but it's really starting to mature, I think, as a person, and that's really reflected in the way he's playing his football.
Played with Garlett, and Franklin was in that area as well. I mean, Garlett's obviously Buddy's cousin.
Terrific doco, three boys dreaming.
Beautiful kick. Carlton, so impressive tonight. Well, I thought the gap was getting less between the top and the bottom after the first round, but we're seeing an example tonight of just where you've got to be if you want to be a contender. And out to 90 points now.
Kane Lucas cramping up. Seven players, 147. So I suppose now action stations for Brisbane to keep it under 100.
Got the spare back.
See, pride counts. People say playing for pride. Sometimes it sounds a bit corny, but that's what they're doing. Murphy to Scotland, goes down towards half forward, and there's the man Spear coming across. Adcock. Adcock and Hampson. Adcock looking pretty tired. We spoke about it before. Brisbane coming off 5 days rest, and Brett Ratton made the point he wasn't anxious to pick Jamieson or Dygan off 5 days, and yet Brisbane, all of them, had to come off the 5. There goes Curnow down towards full forward, but that doesn't explain exactly what's happened in the second half, because this man has been everywhere. Chris Judd kept it alive. Simpson can't keep it in. Boundary throw in. Under 4.5 minutes now, and Carlton supporters who made the trip and or live in this neck of the woods, very happy they came to the GABBA.
Pretty good crowd, 26,000 tonight. And so not the required distance. Black, who's battled away but hasn't had any impact. Scotland's kick to the pocket. Waite looking for a free. So Carlton's biggest ever wins away from or anywhere, 103, the first time ever they played Brisbane in 1987. So 103 and then a 98. So this is their third biggest win at the moment ever against the Lions. And I think they were trailing at quarter time and so competitive even at halftime. Merritt had a shot to keep them within a couple of goals at the long break. So Leuenberger's long ball out wide. Beams, we haven't seen a lot of. He started on Murphy, the Rising Star nomination last week. Redden free kick.
And in the back, Brisbane.
It's a fine player, Redden, from the same club as Gibbs in South Australia, Glenelg Footy Club, who had their first game under lights last Friday night in Brighton Road, Glenelg. It's still over the top. O'Brien, who was the sub, and they get a goal. Sub always likes that, Dennis, when he can come on and kick one. He gives you a chance of playing next week, doesn't it? Lucas did that last week pretty well.
Yeah, nice to drift in and get those late goals when everyone else is really feeling their legs now. And just looking at this surface, it's cut up a bit, so it wouldn't be the easiest one to have played on tonight if you'd had a short break. So this one done and dusted. It's been that way for quite a while. 147 of 63. Plenty of big footy still to come. Of course, no footy tomorrow. Carazzo to Judd. 32 possessions for Judd now. Down towards half forward. Simpson. He's had a wonderful last quarter, but that's not his best effort. He shanked that one outside of the boot. Just manages to sneak it in for a behind. 148 players, 63.
So Judd 32, Murphy 30. You'd love to know, as Hanley goes out. When they both get 30 plus, what the winning ratio is for the Blues. Got a feeling it's pretty high, don't you?
I reckon. Because they're both such destructive player with ball in hands. That's, as you say, they're not necessarily 40 possession getters, but you know if Judd gets 30 odd and Murphy gets 30 odd, they're going to be real good.
Well, if you look at
because they just use the ball so well.
And the numbers, I mean, they do use the ball exceptionally well. Whereas Judd 32 possessions, 17 contested.
Yeah.
Murphy 30
possessions,
20 contested. 10. It's just phenomenal numbers in close, and then have the polish to finish it off.
So McKeever doing the ruck work there. Judd's got hold. Just with Judd and Black, we've talked a bit about them tonight. They're 2 of the 5 Triple Crown winners. By Triple Crown, I mean the blokes that have won a Brownlow, a Norm Smith and a Premiership. The other 3 are Williams, Bartell and Hurd. Of course, the Norm Smith hasn't been in forever.
That Norm Smith that Simon Black ran in 2003, he's played a lot of good games, but he's never played a better game than that grand final in 03. He was just magnificent.
And Dipper's actually just run, because retrospectively he got a best on the ground but didn't get the Norm, but he has run in Dipper. We've taken note of it. Here's Cruiser.
He sends it long down towards full forward, and drifting back, the mark is taken by White.
Not a bad 5 though, Den, are they?
No, remarkable.
And 2 of them out there tonight. I reckon Juddy wouldn't mind swapping one thing for an extra premiership that Blackie's got. 3 to 1.
Which is?
I'll give him a Brownlow. Another one.
Oh, I see, okay.
Blackie's already got a Brownlow, so he doesn't need to swap one of them.
No, I know. I got caught out there.
5 goals to White. Third time he's kicked 5 goals. I just accept when we start talking stats, Bruce, that I'm against the ropes and you're pummeling me. Even when you were wrong, I thought to myself, Black didn't win a Brownlow.
No, I knew this facts. I was just, but hey, Muhammad Ali was against the ropes and he still beat George Foreman. Don't you worry if I'm pummeling you, mate.
Yeah, but I'm going to do the rope a dope. Only I won't do it as well. You'll get through my defences, Bruce. Go on, hit me again.
I feel like a dope after the last discourse. It's a massive night for the captain tonight and for the club. And for Simon Black, who we've had a real insight again tonight, able to listen in. Had a fabulous match last week. So the Lions, who started this match so brightly, it was a fantastic first quarter. Tui goes back to Thornton. Thornton switches at it, and that ball was out of play. So Collingwood tomorrow, on Saturday night, and Hawthorn Geelong on Monday. Cruiser, front spot, Tui chasing. So we'll get to see Saul Mitchell versus Selwood Bartell on Monday. Gee, Geelong have copped some flack, haven't they? By going down by a kick after trailing by 5 goals. They'll bounce back. So Cruiser.
They'll miss Scarlett though, won't they?
Yeah. Oh. To Henderson. To Bauer. Now to Yaron. He's a teaser, Yaron.
Isn't he? Just to look over the shoulder.
Redden kept up, but never really got there. And it'll be a boundary throw.
154 plays 63.
There's some donuts there.
Shows the difference of who can carry the footy. Yaron must have had a fair few of those.
I reckon.
I wonder how many of those bounces were delivered in fluorescent boots.
Leuenberger did brilliantly. Rockcliffe, the high one down towards half-forward. Polkinghorn. McKeever. Pollock. Towards the pocket. Merritt came hard. Henderson right in his hip pocket. Able to get it on the ground and go back and recover. Lays it off to Russell. Russell comes across to Simpson. Simpson up from the back pocket. High ball launched towards the wing. Garland goes down. What a beautiful kick. Goes down towards half-forward Scotland. Scotland, demanding a bit of Hampson. Pitched at his feet. Maguire in trouble, though. And the ball rolls back to the pair.
Holding Brisbane. Holding.
And a free kick to Hampson.
Just I'll tell you, that was fantastic.
Oh, the other way, sorry.
Gut running from Heath Scotland there. The game's done and dusted, and he's 30 plus, and that's a great example set for young players.
He ran so hard to get the kick, didn't he? So huge win for Carlton on the Easter Thursday night. trailed at quarter time and then blew the Lions away.
Juddy, there's a lot to like about your form tonight. How did you see it?
Yeah, we're really happy. You know, we had a great win last week, and they're a developing young side, so it's a tough road trip, and we're about to get the points.
You just mentioned you think that break might have hurt them a little bit, but in saying that, you are really overrunning teams early in the year.
Yeah, we've had a really big pre-season, and you know, our loads and what we've done training-wise are through the roof. So I think that's.
Mark Murphy up, he gets the tag and you just run around doing what you want.
That's it, mate. It's my time for lick of the ice cream.
You know, midfield goals, mate. You kicked 3 goals. Murph got 2. Matty Cruiser kicked 2. It's pretty important.
I think so, and I think in the modern day game we're all spending a bit of time up forward too, so it's always good to get on the scoreboard.
Doesn't get any easier. The Pies next week, but you got a couple of extra days on them again. That's going to help your preparation.
Yeah, huge game for us. You know, they're still really one of the benchmark teams, so yeah, it'll be a great challenge, and looking forward to getting back to the G.
Well done, thanks, Juddy.
Thanks, Richard. Cheers.
Just fantastic numbers. Eddie Betts' 2 marks, a huge highlight tonight. Had so many good players. Simon Black, well, he's manful again. What did he have? He had 23 disposals, just the 8 kicks. We'll hear more audio from Blackie post-match. It's been a highlight of the night, but he was pushing uphill for much of the night, wasn't he?
Yeah, no, he was. He's such a good ball getter, as we know, and he did that again on 11 contested possessions, 7 clearances, but just that ability to explode away from the stoppages. Carlton were just so much better in that tonight. Judds, Murphy, Scotland was good at that. Simpson, Yaron off halfback.
Lee, we're on our way down to Richo again. Richo?
Yeah, we've got Eddie here. Eddie, pretty good tangers there tonight. You happy with those?
I think I just fluked them, to be honest. I jumped and closed my eyes and they stuck.
Oh, mate, they were rippers. Which one did you like better, the one on the wing or inside the 50?
I don't know. To be honest, I really can't remember it, but before the game I told Yaz to hit me up and he kicked them both to me.
They certainly did. The boys are in good form. What are you liking most about the side early in the season?
Oh, just taking them on, you know. Pre-season wasn't that good, but, you know, we come out and won 2 in a row, so, you know, we look forward to next week. Got a Friday night game, I think, so hopefully we'll do all right.
Now, what do you think of Jeffy's boots? They're doing a fair bit at the moment.
Man, they're too bright now as it is. I've got to block my eyes.
Well done, mate. Enjoy it.
Yeah, good stuff. You played well. Lee, they have beaten 2 teams that were well out of the 8 last year in Richmond and Brisbane, haven't they? But they've been just so impressive.
No, they have been. I mean, at 9-9 to 18 scoring shots eventually to 13. As I say, I just reiterate, I think the Lions, there was always a pretty good chance they were going to fade very early tonight. But Carlton, you know, better team anyway. But I think eventually the Lions were completely gone not long after half-time. And from that point onwards, Carlton just absolutely demolished them. But I mean, they got scoring power, a terrific midfield, a good offensive tagger in Carrazzo, a good swing man in Gibbs who can go forward and go back. Their defence is solid even without a couple of their keys, Jamison and Dygan tonight. So, no, they've got most of the weapons to push up from 5th last year into that very top bracket.
Do you put them on a par with Hawthorn, Geelong and Collingwood right now?
I do, yeah. I think they're as good as, you know, good as that handful at the top. Now, whether they can prove that over the long season, that's the challenge for all those teams, but they're certainly as in good a shape as anyone, I would have thought.
Well, Judd's been so important when he first came to the club because they weren't a powerhouse at that point, but you felt like they've built the layers around him, don't you?
Well, it was an incredible get. I mean, they got the early draft choices, but to get a man like Chris Judd, the player he is, the man he is, and just the character he is, to come into your club, experienced players, mid-20s, and then you get your Murphys in, the early draft choices, and then and Cruiser, obviously, and just they were able to get those little forwards. So they're building a really strong team. It's amazing. You look at Carlton and Judd. You think way back a generation ago when they recruited Greg Williams.
Yeah.
You know, it's very hard to get a champion player to come to change clubs, and it just happened that way.
Gee, I remember from being a South Australian when they got Kernahan, Bradley and Motley, or even way before that.
Of course, yeah. Well, they were the South Australians ready to come and have a crack at the VFL, as it were, but yeah, it's Jeff Elston, I think, at the bottom of the stairs there, who was the original owner of the Sydney Swans way back, but a keen Carlton supporter.
Yep. Now, they've got a lot of weapons, Lee, haven't they? I mean, we look at Gibbs there, who's the utility. I mean, he's mopping up a bit at the moment.
Well, that's it. He can play forward, back, and give you a hit out in the midfield, and a really high-quality player. And they got speed. They can play real high-tempo footy. That's one thing you know that Carlton do. Good leg speed over their whole team.
Yeah, it's hard to find an area where they've got a weakness at the moment. They feel like they've got most bases covered, don't you?
Yeah, they look pretty strong. And if number 30 there, if he can stand up, because he's not their forward line, but he's a terrific addition to the forward line as that running, moving, sort of running tall up there.
Well, they got beaten by less than a kick in Perth in a final last year without Waite and Gibbs and Cruiser. So here we go, about to hear the song. So 63 to 154, 91-point win to the Blues.
This has been a Fox Footy presentation for Fox Sports.